Oh, we're live. We're live. Jimmy the best. Sorry about that.
It's
Hi,
okay.
everyone. Welcome. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. This is the Loshak in the Bag Show. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. Today is Tuesday, February 1st. We got the Super Bowl coming up in a couple of weeks, but today we're going to cover NHL, we're going to cover NBA, and of course, we're going to cover college basketball with special guest Maxwell Smart. Jimmy the Bag, you want to start this show off with a bang? You want me to drop an official play? Rams, Bengals over 48? I'll do it. You want me to?
Do it.
You better stop me or I'll drop.
I'm not going to stop you. I want you to keep. I like it.
Total over. You better get control of this show, Jimmy the Bag. No, I don't know if you want me to?
Yeah.
Let's fucking do it. I don't see any reason why I'll change my mind unless, a whole bunch of commenters, a whole bunch of lowbaggers say, no, don't do it, Peter, take the under. But how do we not? I don't mean to, we're supposed to be introing the show, shouting out the comment section and everything. But first things first, right? Super Bowl, the most important sports betting event of the year. And I want to make an official play on it, right, Jimmy the Bag? That's not wasting time talking about the Super Bowl, is it?
That's not wasting time at all, Pete. What's the action? Let me lock it in.
I mean, no, over. If anyone in the comment section thinks that's a really stupid thing to do, please, I'm going to check the comment section in a second. I'm seeing 48 at Pinnacle, minus 110, 48 at Pinnacle, minus 110. I understand you kind of want to expect the unexpected. You don't know what the game plans are going to be, but we know what these people are going to do. Right? They're going to ride Burrow. They're going to ride Stafford. They're going to ride the cup and the weapons on offense and Jamar Chase and see who wins. You know what I'm saying? 48, I'll take it. Right, Jim? Right? No?
It's locked in. I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense here.
Minus 110. All right, anyway, so we got that one locked in. I think it's going to be a good show. We got, once again, a big NBA card. NHL, I'm prepared for. A very interesting card. A lot of huge, massive favorites again. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Dallas opening as a home dog. Really? Why would that be? We'll find out what Jimmy the Bag and other commenters in the comment section have to say about that. The NBA card, interesting. I think I got a few plays. Who's joining us for the NBA card today? Trot Wam?
Trot Wam will be joining us.
That's going to be awesome. College basketball, I'm not fully prepared for, but I have a few games capped. I did make a couple of bets, and February tends to be when I do best in college basketball. This time of year is when it really starts to get good. So I make a personal vow to you, Jimmy the Bag. I am going to listen to that Allman Brothers song, Ain't Wasting Time No More, every day for all of February. And for every single show from now on in February and March, I'll be completely 100% fully prepared for college basketball. That is a personal vow from me to you, Jimmy the Bag.
Just keep doing what you are doing in college basketball, Pete.
Shut up and start the show.
Toledo team total over you gave us there on Tuesday. That moves you to 23-15 on the show. Over 60%, Pistol.
All these other markets are getting very, very sharp, and your average dumb to medium intelligence guy like myself maybe is losing his edge. But college basketball market is still where it's always been in my life, as far as I can tell, and as far as I can see, and I'm doing pretty well in college basketball overall. I don't want to jinx myself, but
there's no such thing. Plus 6.55 units.
Be fun. Go ahead.
ROI, you're at 17.24%. Average line minus 110. You've been spectacular. And not only you, Maxwell Smart is heating up. And you know what he's been doing, Pete? He's been focusing on alternate lines, getting plus numbers on alternate lines.
Yes.
He did that on Friday. He took Ohio minus 2.5 at plus 165. And then he took Cleveland State minus 1.5 at plus 125. He's now 10 games over 500 himself. 86, 76, 53.1%, plus 9.23 units. ROI plus 5.70%, and a volume better like him. His average line is plus 100.
Very impressive. I can't say I'm surprised. I am pleased. Congratulations to Maxwell Smart. And I'm looking forward to February college basketball action. Jimmy the Bag.
Pistol, I've been falling apart in NHL still. So
really?
My NBA has been on a big run, but and you know what I've been doing? I've been reaching. That's what you do when you start losing. On Saturday, I took the Senators and the Flyers, who are both dogs, on the -1 line for huge scores. The Flyers won. They stopped their losing streak, but I just pushed there. I'm just reaching, and It's rough. And there's a spot that I like on the board. Of course, one spot. There's 11 games. There's a couple other I like, but I thought just don't bet anything. The lines aren't moving against me. In fact, the main bet I want to make, the line's moving on the other side. So I'm just going to wait. We have a couple big things going on right off the top. We want to say what up to everyone. First, shout out to Kyle Hindley. And thank you so much for that dono. Thank you for thinking of us, my man. And Kyle says, where can I find info on San Antonio? I want in. Kyle, we've got a ton of info for you. It's the 24th to the 31st. It looks like we've locked down the deal with the hotel. We're going to confirm all that today, but it looks like that's locked down. We have all the events set up. We have all these cappers coming in from all over North America. I'll be there from the 22nd until the 5th. So it's going to go off. And big news here, it is Michael Ervelina's birthday, Pete. Michael Ervelina's birthday. I haven't seen the comment because I was kind of focused. Here it is. My first time in a few years, I get to spend my birthday with Pete and Jimmy. Can I get a birthday picture? Go back, fam.
I thought... problem at all. Here you go, Michael Ervelina, Colorado Avalanche minus 534. Happy birthday, Michael Ervelina. No, just kidding. That was a birthday joke for you. That was a birthday sports betting joke for you, Michael Ervelina. But yes, of course, huge shout out to Michael Ervelina. Happy birthday. Hope you have one of the best years of your entire life this upcoming year. And yeah, I'll give you a birthday pick. Happy birthday, Michael Ervelina. Hell yeah.
We have a ton of work to do. Yeah. I have moved 17 units in the right direction in NBA. So I was falling apart, going to let go of the sport for the year. But we've made a nice run, and it's still not great by any means, but I've moved in the right direction there. And then NFL's been great. I've hit 6 straight in the playoffs, so everything's looking good there, and the season's been positive, and that's all you can ask for. But we have a ton of work to do, Pete, and I can't wait to do that work with you. Shout out to all the cappers joining us today, especially Michael Ervelina celebrating his birthday with us. We love you. A Real Deal Prime community of new knowledge. Dan Kelly says, been waiting 4 long years, and finally time is almost here. Pete's women curling picks are just around the corner. Hallelujah. Cannot wait. So Pete's women's curling picks right around the corner. Sammy Calmer, Daryl Turner says, anyone like Bruins, Stars, Rangers, Islanders, and NHL? I certainly, I guess, well, we're going to talk all about those games individually, but very interesting spots there. Mr. Vape, Rocks are 82 in the house. Dabby Cab ready to get to work. Polly Walnuts, Davidless, Puzzler, Kyle Hindley and Henry Dice, B-Ball 619, James S., Jimmy Gomez, Community New Knowledge doing great work, by the way. And he's on Cincinnati Moneyline in the Super Bowl. So is Sammy Calmer. Vaughn Polo coming to us live from Charm City. We got Williams Wrestling, Dennis Garcia. The group is here. Jay Peasy, we got Vite, we got Birdie, Dav Fenn, Ziggy Balls, Chief. I would love to give you guys all a shout out individually, but we got a ton of work to do. Remo, Slatsy. Great. Oh, look at that winning night in NHL last night. Keeps rolling. Historical trend. Panthers Rangers 10-0 to the over the last 10 matchups. So that, Slatsy, is the spot I want to bet against. So I want to go up against your historical trend, but I expect money to keep coming in on that over. And we know that trends matter. I know that. There's our guy, Fat Wally. So many great cappers joining us. Eric Jones. Let's get right to work. Pistol,
okay.
Loshak.
I just want to say one quick thing, Jimmy the Bag.
Sure.
I just loaded up the comment section, and I see Dennis Garcia referring to my Super Bowl official play that I just gave out, labeling it a quote-unquote really stupid thing to do.
I missed that.
Okay. We do see Viper B47. I am on the over too. Okay. People talking about the offensive line for the Bengals. Sure. All right. Well, we'll talk about that later. We got 2 weeks to talk about it, right, Jimmy the Bag?
He doesn't mess around, that guy. Okay. He has an opinion and he goes with it. By the way, Polly Walnuts has a fact of the day. You know, I think that Polly Walnuts should probably create a new part of our show. I think we should have the Pistol Pete Loshak fact of the day. Today from Polly Walnuts, the fact of the day is Loshak has never driven a motor vehicle.
That is true. That is true. But we have a big show to get to, Jimmy the Bag. So, no, that is absolutely true. Jimmy the Bag.
Okay, well, let's get right to work. It is great to see you guys. We start 7 p.m. with Kraken Bruins. You want to take it away and we'll roll?
All right. Okay, here we go. Let's take it away. Jimmy the Bag. Kraken Bruins, right? Boston lost 3 of 4 after a long run of winning, right? They lost as a home fave, minus 250, right? They went up against Arizona, minus 280 road fave. They won 2-1, right? Now, I'm thinking that Boston might be, a little bit fundamentally overvalued right now. Seattle has some life. I was a little bit wrong about Seattle to start the season, just a little bit. I thought they'd be good defensively and maybe a little bit undervalued, which isn't exactly how things have shaken out so far. But look at this. We got Seattle recently. They beat Pitt as a massive road dog, beat Florida. Florida, we're going to talk about Florida in a few minutes. If you actually beat Florida, that doesn't happen by luck, Jimmy the Bag. I was thinking, and Boston scoring down a little bit, this might be one of my favorite spots on the card. Not necessarily taking Seattle to win the game outright, but maybe at their +1.5 line or +2. Maybe the Boston team total under 3.5 at -103. Maybe Seattle first period. I'd take them to win the game outright, but I was thinking about betting Seattle here one way or two ways. Maybe Boston team total under. What's up with Boston right now? Sluggish?
Well, I've been watching these games, and there's some things I'm afraid to say. Like, I'm afraid to say that it looks like Patrice Bergeron might be a step slower than we remember him. He's still far and away their best plus minus of the forward group, and he's still a hell of a hockey player. Taylor Hall's hit on Nathan McKinnon showed me, he's what he could be. It looks like they need Krejci back badly. They don't have scoring depth. This team is Charlie McAvoy and then no depth on defense. I don't know really what to make of them, but you have to imagine that they're going to come in here angry after the 6-1 loss at Dallas on Sunday. So that makes me not want to fade them. In fact, I can understand backing an angry Bruins squad here against this Seattle team that's now dealing with sickness and injuries on this long road trip. But what would you do? You'd have to take them on the puck line -105. Birdie says Boston is being overvalued all season. I have no play on this game, but I don't see why we don't smash this over. Fading Bruins here is a mistake, in my opinion. Over seems like the best look. Cashman19 says, like Boston since moving Pasternak to the second line with Hall and Haula. Didn't like their lines with the big three. And Haula is out for this, right? Let me just go to my here. He's on the COVID list. So now you've lost what you were getting, or a part of what you were getting from that second line. Ullmark has been average or a little bit below average, 15-6-1, 2.66 goals against average, 912 save percentage. Grubauer has been trash. Seattle power play at 16.9%. Jared McCann has been the player that Ron Francis said he would be, that the Corsi numbers have said that he would be for some time, but it's not enough. Boston power play at 25.4%, penalty killing at 82.5%. Seattle comes in off that second loss in 3 games, 3-2 with the Rangers on Sunday. They've been dealing with long-term injuries to Brandon Tanev and Jaden Schwartz. And then 2 weeks ago, they lose Carson Soucy and Jamie Alexiak. It looks like they've gotten over that. But now they lose Calle Jarnkrok and Carson Kuhlman to injury on Wednesday. And Jarnkrok is the only one of their top 10 scorers to not be negative double digits and plus minus. Jared McCann, 18 goals, 10 assists, 28 points. He's been good. But I don't see how we could back either side, honestly. And the idea that the over is in play is a fascinating one. And I told you guys earlier in the year that my ROI on home over 5.5 with the Bruins is poor. And then I think it's a vividness bias of thinking that they score a lot of goals. But it's been pretty good this year. Slatsy says that's the right call on Bergie. Says, watch the line changes. He's the first player off the ice by 30 seconds. Definitely slowing down. I hate saying it because I love him. He's everything you want in the hockey player. But sorry.
Okay, no, I was leaning under. I was leaning under here, Jim.
Well, that's what Seattle has been. That's how they have been playing. They've been playing a tight under style of hockey game on this road trip. I think the Bruins are an upset group. I think that the fact that Seattle has been better on this road trip is just a sign of them being an improved team compared to their record. And they're handling injuries quite well. Puzzler says Jarnkrok is expected at the moment. That's it. I think they're probably behind, is my guess. Let me just go into because if we're talking about if we are talking about a COVID situation from the 29th, it would have to be a false negative, right? If he was going to be able to play, because it hasn't been 5 days. Let me just get into this here quickly. Oh, yeah, it was just sorry, Yarncroc is not a COVID situation. Who do I have for COVID? Oh, Hala on the COVID list. Okay. So, yeah, Yarncroc could be in. I don't know.
You think at this point in the season, I mean, yeah, they went to Dallas, they got blown the F out. You think that's like, they're like pissed off about that at this point in the season, or are they like, well, whatever, just a game, we got blown out, let's go home?
No, I think they're angry. They were up 3-1 going to the third period in Colorado with no McKinnon, and the Avalanche completely took over the game. And I had bet the Bruins live plus 310 in the first period, late in the first period, and I was sitting there fat and happy. And I didn't take the cash out. Which was a really nice offer, and I should have. They're angry. They've not looked good. And they're coming. And they're a veteran squad. Veteran squads don't handle this well. So no, I think they're an angry team, and I think they beat the Kraken. And if you gave me a guess at the final score, I would say it's a 4-1 Boston. And even in saying that, I don't know if I want the puck line because Seattle is playing well on the road right now.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll move on. But I mean, maybe, just maybe, call me crazy. Maybe the reason they don't look good is because they're not good right now.
Well, they're not as good as they've been. That's facts. Nick Foligno out, defenseman John Moore out, Tuukka Rask dealing with injuries. They don't have Krejci. He's a huge piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. All right. You know what? You can throw me on there. A lot of people are saying stay off this game, and I can understand that. I'll take under 6 minus 123. Current line of Pinnacle. That's official.
Okay, Pete, you are locked in under 6 minus 123. Before we go into the next game, we have big news at Pub Sports Radio. Well, we have the Pubapalooza, obviously, but we also, our website is now in business in a big way, and we're really excited about it. We've done some changes with it, and you can watch all our shows on our website. And we're going to be adding stuff. You can also comment in the chat right on the website. So everything is up there at pubsportsradio.com. And we'd love it if you guys would watch our shows on the website. So just wanted to throw that out there. But let's keep rolling, my man.
Yeah. Just very quickly, I don't mean to stay on this game, but TJ says Grubauer is a sieve, C-I-V sieve. I wouldn't say. Is it? You agree with that, Jim? Or is that?
Well, he has been this year. I mean, that's what you're getting right now from Grubauer. He's looked a little better on this road trip. And
yeah. But past 7 games, past 7 games or so, right? Since mid-January.
Nutflush says if you like the Bruins, looking at the 3.5 team total minus 115. That team total has been cashing, but I'm still a little hesitant. I don't want a juiced line. Brady says they have the perfect setup for a rebound game, playing a bad team that can score, so playing wide open makes sense, especially from Boston perspective. Coaching-wise, you want positive. Scoring is positive. And we got M. King in the house. Great to see you. Respect, M. King. Thank you for rolling with us. And Mike M says Seattle plus 1.5 hammer spot.
I know. Yeah, and I was about to make a joke. I was like, I'll take the under unless I see a comment from Nutflush saying he likes the team total over for Boston at 3.5. But he didn't necessarily say he likes it. He just says if you like the Bruins, then look into the 3.5. That's conditional.
There's no hotter capper in our group than Nutflush Allen right now. He's seeing things very clearly, attacking the right spots, focusing on team totals, and doing a great job.
Kyle Hintland says stay off game, not great, because you think Boston might explode here, Jim, right?
I think that they're a frustrated group. They have not been very good at home right now. 14-8-1.
All right, I'll keep it. Under 6 minus 123. I gave it. I'll keep it. Yeah, hopefully it is 4-1 or something like that. All right, let's oh no, I'm seeing minus 118 at Heritage. Give me that, Jim. 6 minus 118. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, great. Minus 118. So now I'll only lose a little bit less if it loses. All right, ready to go?
Yeah, and Sammy Comer says last game for Boston before the break. Tough to know where their heads are at. God, Sammy, that's such a great comment. Isn't this chat just so special?
Yeah.
That again pushes me towards they're going to go all out here. I'm now starting to lean towards this 1.5 on not bad, but a Bruins team that's not been playing well. Sammy, that's a great point. It's a great point. Okay, so the guys aren't being able to pull up the chat. Jose saying it might be first aid jitters. We'll figure this out. We'll get this going. So no pressure if you can't get on the chat because we need you guys in the chat badly. Yeah. Look what Sammy just did. Sammy, I think that's such an important call, such an important angle. They have to go into the break with a win here. I love what Sam just added, and that makes me want to move on the Bruins on the puck line.
Also, after getting what's the word? Some hyperbole, some sports hyperbole phrase for all those goals. They're going to crack down defensively, right? I'm okay with the under. I'm taking it.
Okay, you've locked it in. You got the under 6 at minus 118.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep rolling.
All right, let's keep rolling. Next game is
quickly, Pete, our aim time is we're bringing Max on at 12:10 for college basketball.
12:10.
Yeah,
leave it to me, Jimmy the Bag. If there's one thing I am is good at time management. All right, so San Jose, Tampa Bay, we're ready.
Yep.
San Jose lost 6 of last 8, and all this stuff about a great team, they're off a loss, they have to go into the break with a good head. Well, here you go. Does that not apply to Tampa Bay? Off a loss to Vegas, a tough one. Of course, they had been rolling before. Is this a no-brainer play? Tampa Bay -1, -1.5. San Jose very beatable, lost 6 of the last 8. What do you think? And San Jose is a little bit depleted as well. No-brainer, Tampa Bay, Jim?
This team bounces back from losses better than any team. Now, this is, again, a vividness thing, but they just seem to come back from losses and smash and grab. And that was a pretty ugly loss to Vegas, a Vegas team that didn't have Chandler Stevenson in the lineup due to COVID, their number one center, without a lot of depth at center, while Bill Carlson not playing well. But Tampa Bay was down 2-0 going into the third. They come back and they still get a point out of it. Vasilevsky, 24-7-4, 2.24 goals against average, 922 save percentage. I have James Reimer listed. Let me know if I'm wrong on this, but Henry Dice looking at Lightning team total over 3.5. Markel looking at Tampa puck line here. And Slat said Tampa Bay's team total at plus 3.5 was minus 125, a bet he made last night. The Sharks, 18.4% power play, 83.8% penalty killing. Tampa, 20% power play, 80.9% penalty killing. Sharks have lost 2 straight and 4-5, but that doesn't tell the whole story because they played really well on this road trip. They looked bad at home, came on this road trip and played really well. Beat Washington 4-1, lost 5-4 in overtime to Florida, lost 2-1 on Sunday in Carolina. Timo Meier and Thomas Hertl have been playing very, very well, especially Meier at 21 goals, 26 assists, 47 points, 40 games, plus 14. He leads the team by a lot. And to give you a real idea about that, he's at plus 14. And the next highest forward is Logan Couture at plus 1. That's how much better he is on the ice. But the second highest player in their plus minus is Jacob Middleton, who I've been talking about since he got hurt because I thought that was going to be a big loss for them. They have 3 defensemen injured right now, Carlson, Middleton, and Mario Ferraro. Tampa comes in off their second loss in 4 games, 3-2 in that shootout. Cooper's hoping to have Kucherov back in the lineup, but that's still in doubt with the COVID protocol, but he was hoping to have him in the lineup for this game. He has 17 goals and 11 points. Stamkos and Hedman have carried this team. Cernak and Bogosian are hurt. They've been hurt for the last couple of weeks. At what price do you want to take the Lightning to come in and take care of business here? And because it's minus 1.5 and minus 130, and that's just too much juice for a puck line. So I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, San Jose, yes, their last 3 games were impressive, but they're still they're not a good team, right, Jim?
I didn't think they were going to be a good team at the start of the year, and they were much better than I thought they were. And I think that we can overvalue. I mean, Erik Karlsson, is he that important of a player to this hockey team? I don't know. Because, he's been out of the lineup, and they've seemed to be much stronger defensively and playing better. Their power play hasn't been good this year. They're not a bad hockey team, but they're certainly not a team I want to back on the road. But look at their road record, 11-11-1. There's nothing wrong with that. So, yeah. And Slatsy says Kucherov is ruled off. Brady says this line's way off. Sharks are the play strictly on line value.
Yeah, that's the problem here. One of these, they're trying to trap you here. Tampa Bay is obviously very likely to win this game, but at minus 340, they're just begging you to eat all that juice, aren't they, Jim?
Yeah, I'm not going to. Not so this is my opinion, but the bad teams going into breaks are extremely profitable to them just wanting to get on vacation. Also, the opposite. Winners want to keep the winning going. Good puck line spots.
Wow.
And Birdie says Sharks like Nashville compete, yet they have they have letdowns, but first teams getting inflated lines, Sharks are a must bet. There's Guillermo Zertucci in the house.
Man.
And then Trinelius Coleman says Grubauer in net on the road, cracking the plus 1.5 team.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Pass for me. Let's move on. All right, Jim.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Toronto, New Jersey. I'm not sure how to play this game. This, I guess, looks like a pass for me. Of course, they played yesterday. Toronto won 6-4. Toronto way better. The question is exactly how bad is New Jersey? But I'm assuming that this guy Gillies is in net for New Jersey, and he just looks like an absolute disaster, right? I'm seeing Mrazek confirmed for Toronto. Which is didn't he play yesterday? So I guess, yeah.
He was. It's just because Campbell was pulled after 9 minutes, allowing 3 goals. Right. Mrazek came in. So I was wondering if Mrazek would go tonight or they'd go back to Campbell, but I guess they've confirmed Mrazek.
Confirmed Mrazek, and I don't know. I guess maybe you're just maybe this is low-hanging fruit, leaving money on the table. If you don't take Toronto, it just looks like New Jersey is a completely lost team right now, and even on a back-to-back against an elite team, they're just going to get beat down again. No?
I guess that's probably the look here. Toronto just seems like they can turn it on at any moment. They just seem like that kind of squad. So I've got, you guys know, I got the Panthers at plus 425 for the division. And usually at this point, you could find your hedge. But I'm still I can't take the Lightning. I'm scared. The Leafs have 5 games in the hand. They could win those 5 games. The Leafs are a dangerous hockey team. But I don't know if they're capable of winning when games are the hardest to win against the toughest teams. They have not shown that in the past. So will that change this year? Big third period comeback by the Leafs. Another one for them. Down 4-2 and then score 4 unanswered goals to win their 4th straight. Matthews with the hat trick. Marner with 3 points. They moved him on that line. And Jake Muzzin is going to return after the All-Star break with his concussion. And Dougie Hamilton also still wearing a no-contact jersey in practice. He'll return after the All-Star break. Top Shelf plays this. It says, Jimmy, this game going under 1,000%. Sure. Often when teams play back-to-back nights and the first game has a ton of goals, it's very often that there's a low amount of goals. And I would be backing that if it wasn't for Gillies. And so maybe this is just. Brady says, I'm looking very hard at the under here. Don't get trapped on this over. This is a 2-3-3 or 2-1-3-1 game all day. I'll be adding this play to my card. So those are some strong cappers who really like the under here.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy the Bag, we're not necessarily the strongest cappers here, but we're the only ones on camera. So we got to talk about it. What's up with New Jersey? Do they have anything left? They look like a team that's absolutely in shambles right now and probably don't have anything left for this one.
It's interesting. It's interesting. They're so different than I expected them to be this year. Jesper Bratt being by far their best player is shocking to me. Nico Hischier not taking that next step, number 1 overall pick. He's at the age. He's the captain. He should be stepping up. He's not doing it. Hughes has so much skill, and I hope we get opportunity to watch it. They're not the hockey team I expected them to be. I thought Sharangovich, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Russian, would be better this year. So, and TJ says Drieger is in for the Kraken. Drieger is in for the Kraken.
Oh, okay. That's not good, right? Wait, what?
No, really? I don't. That would probably. I mean, it's just he's been out for a while,
right? And
he's just coming back and getting reacclimated. So
okay. So I guess my question here is Toronto going to be like, all right, we're way better than you. Take a win at home, just take it and go. I mean, let's go into the break. You think they're going to not care about this one?
Is that a legitimate concern with this team that we don't know if they step up when they need to and they can be a little flaky? These are all legitimate questions. But I mean, with the Leafs, if are they just going to smack the Devils again, -1.5, at least it's at plus money. They're the better hockey team. I mean, that's clear. I mean, that's just silly to say. Sorry, but they're. I don't know. They want to go on vacation too, don't they? I don't know.
So we're going to move on. But what about New Jersey team total under at 2.5? So maybe if New Jersey does kind of win, it's 2-1 or 2-0.
No, they score. They have offensive talent. They have offensive talent, and a lot of their forwards aren't accountable defensively. And so the third period comes, and the other team, puts their foot on the gas and takes care of business. So
I mean, except for last game, they went under 2.5 goals in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of their previous 6 games.
Well, that's an important point. But the Leafs play wide open hockey without Muzzin out there, and There's going to be opportunities. But a lot of the cappers are moving towards the under here, so that would work. Birdie says Ruff will be losing his mind. If this was 20 years ago, those Devils players would have wore their equipment home. Leafs called timeout in the first period yesterday. Defense will be preached by both teams.
What about under 7 at -166 at Pinnacle?
Oh, I wouldn't mess with that kind of juice on a total.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, maybe I'll add something on later, but let's move on, Jim. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, interesting game. This one scares me, but it's very interesting. Be very interested to hear what Jim has to say about this one, what the comment section has to say about it. Florida Rangers, right? Florida, very extremely impressive team. Blasted Columbus last night. They're on a back-to-back, 14 out of the last 17. They're just a hard team to beat, no matter who you are, no matter what the situation is. The Rangers, though, they were looking very good, right? Getting great offense, doing everything right. Now they've lost 2 of their last 3. And they're not really getting a lot of shots on goal, and they're allowing a lot, right? They allowed a lot of shots on goal in their last game, and the last time they played Florida, they won, but they got outshot 45-18. So in light of all that, it's very hard to take the Rangers. I don't know if I'd want to take Florida here though, as this big of a road favorite. I'm guessing it's going to be Knight in goal for Florida. Let me see. Yeah, well, not confirmed, but
we're expecting him.
Yeah. So I guess my first thought was maybe this is a shot to take the Rangers, but you really want to be careful timing a loss by elite teams in all sports, which is what you'd be doing here. And the question is, what's up with the Rangers? They won 9 of 12. Before their last 3 games, and they lost 2 of 3, not getting shots on goal. Why have the Rangers been sort of subpar last 3 games, Jimmy the Bag?
Adam Fox, perennial, now going to be a perennial Norris Trophy candidate. Got hurt Thursday against Columbus, and he's already been replaced for the All-Star game. They also don't have Patrick Nemeth. Capo Caco, Philip Chittle are hurt. This doesn't, it hurts a bit for their offensive depth, but the issue is that, they don't have Tony DeAngelo, who is capable of stepping up in this spot. His character got him kicked off the team, and now he's the best defenseman on the Carolina Panthers. It's too bad. Now, we've already heard that there is a huge trend on these 2 teams going over, but I would like to bet against that. I would like to take the under. The under 6.5 was -120, and I was like, we know money will come in on this over, and so there's been a 5-cent move since then. Let me just refresh this. So it's now -115 to the under 6.5. I just don't think this will be with Shesty in goal. I think he'll play very well. 21-5-2, 2.10 goals against average, .937 save percentage. I do not think that. I mean, there's an idea that that teams will be weaker defensively without their star defenseman, but and Birdie and I've talked about often, it's the opposite. They're going to be weaker offensively because they don't have the outlet pass that he's so adept at making. He's not going to be on the power play. And defensemen who aren't used to playing 25 or 26 minutes are going to have to play 25 or 26 minutes with Fox out of the lineup, which means they're not going to be pinching as much. So, so I want this under. Turnsey says, can we see this get to a 7? I don't think so. Birdie says, love the Rangers here and also love the under. Says, I've bet New York already, waiting on the under because it will only improve by waiting. Yeah, I agree. So
the Rangers, someone loves a team going up against the Panthers. Wow.
Panthers on the second half of back-to-back, winning their 4th straight game, 8-4 at Columbus. They've scored 22 goals in their last 4 games. They're so deep. My God, deep is the ocean, baby. Sammy Reinhart.
Let me ask you something. Why are the Rangers? Why is the Rangers offense floundering right now? Why aren't they getting shots? Oh, because right.
Adam Fox. I mean, Adam Fox is just—he's spectacular. He's blowing everybody's minds. TJ says Trouba and Keandre Miller are playing the big minutes and handling it. We know that Trouba can handle it. I'm not saying that Keandre Miller can't handle it, but we know that Trouba's been in similar situations and played 30 minutes a game before in Winnipeg. They're 2 good defensemen, but they are not going to be pinching. They're going to know that they're going to have to be on the ice for a ton tonight and in very important situations and play shorthanded. And so.
All right.
And Top Shot Play says Panthers do suck on the road. They have won 9 of 20 games on the road. So, Oh, and Chris Brady joining us from the Pacific Northwest says, I'm on the over so far.
There you go. Chris Brady also says, hi, Pete. Hi, Chris Brady. All right. You want to move on, Jim?
I do. Yes, Igor Shesterkin is a great goalie. Groovy Caps. He's top 5 in the league. Okay. Oh, and Sweaty Butcher says chat fading my overs. And he's on the over 6.5. Damn, Sweaty Butcher got 6.5 and plus 100. That makes me nervous. And then TJ says, also keep in mind Rangers are 12-0 when entering the third period tied, and third period overs are money in their game. So if we see a tie going in the third period, I'll be on New York Rangers live.
Okay.
All right, so I will be on the under 6.5, but I'm like, Birdie, I'm going to wait. But I don't like going up against Sweaty Butcher. Let's move on, Pete.
Yeah, I was just going to say, with Knight in goal, I might want to take a shot with the Rangers team total over, even with Fox in. Fox out.
I'll pull it up right now, but Knight looked good in his last game.
Yeah.
And Knight is going to be a really good goaltender in this league. And starting off the year poorly is, I think, just going to help him build character and understanding. And watching a veteran goalie like Bobrovsky have just a great season, which, we did not expect, takes the pressure off Knight to get his act together. Remember, this is a kid. He's 20 years old. I mean, he's so that last 2 games he's been incredible. He's allowed 1 goal in his last 2 games. He's 964 save percentage, 960 save percentage. This kid's got it, and so
all right.
Yeah.
I'll pass then. I'm be interested to see where this what actually winds up happening in this game. But let's move on. All right, Jim.
Let's do it. There's Nasty Nate in the house. Let's roll on, Pistol.
All right, another interesting one. Winnipeg, Philly. Both of these teams kind of uninspiring. Philly finally got a win, right? But they had lost 13 in a row before that. And they're very, very depleted, aren't they? And then Winnipeg, everyone to start the year, it's like, oh, Hellebuck, he's so amazing, top 10, whatever in the entire league. They start Comrie, and finally they get a win. But the Flyers are so depleted. I guess my first thought here would be to take Winnipeg, but they're just not a very inspiring team, and especially not as a road favorite. So I have no opinion as of right now. I guess it's going to be a pass unless I hear something compelling from you or the comments section. What's your take on this one, Jimmy the Bag?
I had the same thing. My first instinct was to back Winnipeg. There'd be a 5-cent move for them at Pinnacle. I couldn't do it, and I don't think these lines are refreshing, so I'll move over. I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. Winnipeg power play at 20.9%, penalty killing 73.1%. Hellebuck is not having a good year, but I know he's a good goaltender, so I expect him to turn it around. There's a reason why Paul Maurice gave up on this squad, gave up on this group. They snapped their 6-game losing streak with a 4-1 win in St. Louis on Saturday night. They have 4 defensemen out of the lineup. Nathan Beaulieu, Dylan DeMello, Logan Stanley, and Dylan Sandberg. It puts so much pressure on guys like Nate Schmidt, who's been better than I expected this year, Pionk, Morrissey, but now they have nobody supporting them. Nikolai Ehlers, by the way, is going to be out long-term, so he's not close to returning. And these Flyers have been destroyed by injuries too. So that's, Wade Allison, they lose them to, and these are they've had no new injuries in the last 10 days. So we can assume that they're getting more comfortable with the situation they have, but they have no Kevin Hayes, no Derek Brassard, no Sean Couturier, and no Nate Thompson. You take 4 centers out of their lineup. Now I know they moved Giroux over. They have no Joel Farabee, no Wade Allison, no Patrick Brown. So it's very tricky to decide how you want to bet 2 teams that have a roster that is unusual for them, and I just think the volatility skyrockets, and I don't see how that
it's definitely heading in Winnipeg's favor, though.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that ain't no accident necessarily, although it could be misdirection, but I don't know.
And this total's gone from, looks like it'll be moving to at least a very, very juice 5.5 to the over. I'm going to pull up Pinnacle and see do you have Pinnacle up right now?
Yes, I do.
What is the line for New Jersey or for Winnipeg?
-158 currently.
Yeah, so this isn't even updating. All right, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to bring up the Action Network. Okay.
All right, I just move on. If we had a little more time, maybe we could talk about it a little bit more and force an official play. But let's move on. How about that? Oh, not put down. Wait. Before we move on, question on this game is: do you think the Jets can score 3 goals?
Yes.
I have no clue. No clue, Not Flush Allen. Absolutely zero clue what the answer to that question is.
But yes, I think the Jets can score 3 goals in this game. Yes.
So maybe the Jets team total over.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the Jets team total over. Absolutely.
But it's not. It's 3.5 at Pinnacle with plus money. Although we shouldn't necessarily be scared of that. But okay, you want to move on, Jim?
I do, and this is all over the place. Minus 150 at BetMGM, minus 172 at FanDuel. So, yeah, let's move on.
Yep. Not Flush Allen. Jets team total over 3.5 at plus money. Looking into that as a play. All right, so let's move on. All right, next one, Jimmy the Bag. Where do we got? Oh, Washington Pitt. Yeah, a lot of interesting handicapping situations on today's card, but that doesn't necessarily translate into low-hanging fruit or bets with confidence. Washington Pitt, right? Pittsburgh, of course, was absolutely dominating for like 20 games in a row, whatever it was. Then they lost 3 in a row, all 3 as a massive favorite. So the big question here is what's going on with Pitt? And then secondarily, what's going on with Washington? We expected them to maybe, fade a little bit at this time of the year because they were, their stars a little bit old. They did. They blasted Dallas in their last game. Before that, though, they had been slumping, and I guess all things considered, it's not very high line for Pittsburgh in light of how they were doing before 3 games ago. So, what's up with this Pittsburgh team, Jim?
Pittsburgh is going to be a tough team to beat as we move into the second half of the season. I think they're fine. It's been surprising watching them struggle a bit. The 4-3 loss home to the Kings. They've lost 3 straight. They are missing depth pieces with Zucker, Bluger, and Heinen out of the lineup, but it's the Capitals that just don't look very good. Their power play 15.2%. As I said with Pittsburgh, remember I said Malkin's back, watch his power play go up. So it's now over 20.6%. It's gone about 4% since he's come back. The Capitals got off the schneid with that dominant 5-0 win at Dallas on Friday. That came on the heels of them scoring 4 goals in 3 games. Oshie is not going to play in these next 2 games. He hasn't been practicing with the team. He's been skating once in a while on his own. They're also missing Kempney and Nick Jensen. Jensen is expected to return before the All-Star break, so he may return tonight. Pens have lost 3 straight. This is an angry group. Brady says, I will be winning the over here. This game brings out the best in both superstars, and they both hate losing to each other. There will be goals, and there will be lots of goals for a book to lay a 6. It's funny because I've often loved going under the total with Capitals Penguins because they do play such an intense game. And what's happened is there's been a lot in my bets. My bets have been okay with these unders, but the first period seems to go under all the time. It's just that there's late power play goals and things of that nature to knock it over. This is tough.
Why did Pittsburgh suddenly lose 3 in a row as a huge favorite?
I just think things ebb and flow. They lose a little bit of depth. The Malkin comes back, and maybe they had this boost of energy with Malkin returning. And they're a veteran club. There's going to be swings. It was surprising, and you have to think that this is their spot to bounce back. You really have to think. And then when I look at the Penguins getting a -1 at even money, that's probably got to be the play now that we talk about it.
All right, you can add that to me. I'm looking at Pinnacle right now. We're a little bit tight on time here, so paying Pittsburgh -1, -102. You can make that an official play. That's at Pinnacle right now. Pittsburgh.
We
Penguins,
can beat that at Bet365, Pete. We can give you a +100.
Okay, got it. Pittsburgh -1 +100. Official play for me.
Yeah, I think this is an angry group. We got Dutch Boy Fresh in the house. Great to see you, Dutchy. Yeah, I think that is a spot where I'm going to want to run with you. So I'm going to write tail. I think that makes sense here.
All right, let's move on. How about it, Jim?
Let's do it.
All right, Ottawa Islanders, very interesting. Of course, there was no overnight line on this one, but I had this game written down, and I was like, gotta be liking Isles here. What will the line be? That was my note on this game. Gotta be liking the Isles here. What will the line be? Turned out the line was pretty steep.
Ridiculous.
I first saw -236, and now where are we? Now we are at -248, so it's gotten bet up a little bit more. It's a great spot for the Islanders. Obviously they're a decent team right now, but Ottawa, they're on a back-to-back. but we've seen Ottawa repeatedly, upset teams as a big underdog or do better than expected. So it's scary to bet the Islanders. I'm sorry, to bet against Ottawa as a big underdog. But on the other hand, the Islanders last game, they outshot Minnesota 43-21. They played really well. They should have won that game. It wasn't a lackluster performance by them. They've got to be pissed here. And Ottawa, even though they've done very well as a big dog, a lot of times this year, they're still a very, very beatable team on a back-to-back. I got to be thinking Islanders anyway, maybe -1, maybe first period. What do you think?
This is such a tough situation for Ottawa, traveling then to New York after the game and all the COVID issues you got to go through. It's just it's a pain. I had the exact same thought as you. What are the Islanders going to open up with? And when I saw that, I was shocked. I mean, this team has won 8 of 20 games at home this year, and the Sens are just dealing with so many injuries. But they're handling it well. They had all these guys out of the lineup last night. Josh Norris, Drake Batherson, Dylan Gambrell. So there's 3 centermen gone right now. And then they lost Shane Pinto and Colin White earlier in the season. So those are all centermen. Scott Sabers and Connor Brown out. They've handled that all very well. But it's enough injuries not to make me want to move on them. Chris G, I've got Anton Forsberg listed in net. Somebody can change that if they know. Slatsy says Isles 7-1 last 8 meetings back-to-back and missing 3 centers, but line is too high for me. Brady says Sens have been dominating last week and a half. Dominating. They've not gotten results. I'll be adding the Sens tonight. Also, we'll add them in regulation.
They've been dominating? Is that true?
They've been playing really good hockey. And they're a worthy dog. But I can't. I don't want them in this spot. This is a tough spot. That was a big win against the Oilers last night. So, by the way, Pistol, it is also Turnsy's son's birthday.
I know.
And
I know.
so the
Okay.
pressure is growing. The pressure is elevating.
I will give you a birthday. I'll give your son a birthday pick. I'll give you a birthday pick on behalf of your son. But let's start out by saying happy birthday, Turnsy 66's son. Hope you have a great year this year, Turnsy 66's son. All right, Jimmy the Bag. So what about the Islanders team total over? What about that? How are they offensively?
They've just been so disappointing offensively. I mean, Anders Lee has not come back from that devastating injury of last year. This guy was he was about to score 40 goals last year. He looked like just the power forward out of your wildest dreams, and he's not doing anything. There's certain players that we expect offense from that they're just not getting it. And, the Pageaus, you go down the lineup, and so there's just too much pressure on Barzal. We thought Wahlstrom was going to be this power play specialist. I mean, it's been disappointment after disappointment. Now, every year the Islanders get it together and win 10 straight, so you can expect that will be coming at some point. But it's just,
they put up 40 shots on Minnesota in the last game, right?
They keep coming at you. They got 4 lines that keep coming at you, Maybe losing Pollock has hurt them because he was such a steadying influence on the back line. But they just haven't been good enough.
All right, you know what? Maybe this is a mistake. I'm sure I'm going to get a smattering of no, Pete, don't do it. I don't like to go against Birdie, but I will take Islanders -1, -174 as an official play. I think the spot is too good for them. I do think that Ottawa is beatable here. I'll take it. Isles -1, -174. I mean, they outshot Minnesota in their last game. They're a hungry team. At some point, I think they'll take over and win. Isles -1, -174. That's an official play, although I can understand all the people saying, no, Pete, don't do it, and whatever.
Enough Fletch Island giving you the last scores for the Islanders: 3-2, 4-1, 4-4-4. So they've scored over the 3.5. It's at +105 for their last 7 games.
Yeah.
Noli says, what about the under? And
yeah. It's not bad either.
That's not a bad look at all.
That's not bad either.
Look at all
right, but let's move on. All right, Jim?
Sure. I'm going to look into that under a little more. That might. Okay, let's roll.
Okay, here we go again. Vancouver, Nashville. Vancouver also on a back-to-back. Nashville off a loss. Before that, they had won, 3 in a row. Nashville hosted Vancouver recently, and Nashville is a home fave, and Nashville lost. So maybe there's a little bit of revenge here. But this is actually similar to the Islanders game, right? Vancouver is off a win on a back-to-back, a very beatable team. Nashville, not necessarily, a top level NHL team, but good enough to get a win when they're rested and have a little bit of revenge. But you want to pay minus 170? I'm thinking maybe. I was thinking about when I saw the opening lines, I was thinking about under and maybe the Vancouver team total under. What do you think about this one, Jim?
Yeah, this is such a tough game because the Canucks are playing really strong defensive hockey right now. And you get the 3-1 win in Chicago, and then you have to travel over to Nashville. So Tanner Pearson's still on the COVID list, but Hamonic and Pullman are dealing with, Hamonic's been out for a long time, and Pullman's dealing with non-COVID illness. Predators had their 3-game winning streak snapped in 3-2 loss at Edmonton last Thursday. They're only missing Eli Tolvanen and Dante Fabro. This Canucks power play 19.2%, penalty killing at 70%. So their special teams are improving, under Bruce Boudreau. And Demko is very, very good goaltender. But Nashville just is sitting there licking their chops, waiting for a tired Canucks team that beat them last time they played. And I was on Canucks in that game, and the Canucks completely outplayed them. And I was in Nashville. It's got to be fresh in Nashville's memory.
Definitely.
This is got to be a spot where Nashville takes care of business. It's just that the Canucks defense and goaltending have been so good of late. And here you have Yaroslav Halak come in for his first game in a month, and he stands on his head. It seems that all the goalies are. Spencer Martin really lifted the team, and now it's up to Thatcher Demko to come in. Brady says we need to stop thinking Preds are not top tier. I guarantee if you ask any of those top 5 teams, 0 of them would want them in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, You make some great points there, Jimmy the Bag, and that's why I'm going to take officially Vancouver team total under 2.5 minus 130 current line at Heritage. I'll take it. They can be held down to, it's always a little bit risky to take these team total under 2.5s, but Vancouver can be held down, and I think this is probably more likely than not one of those games. So I'll take it under 2.5 minus 130. Vancouver team total under.
This has got to be a Predators spot here. It just has to be. I mean, that game's got to be so fresh in their memory. The Canucks came in, completely outplayed them. Now they're tired and vulnerable, and the Predators are coming off of a loss, and I'm going to move on to Predators -1.
Okay, and I am on Vancouver team total under 2.5 minus 130, and the Predators -1, minus 107. I mean, it's got to be a decent spot, right?
Just has to be.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It just got to be.
Got to be. It's got to be. All right, let's keep rolling. In 15 minutes, we have Maxwell Smart joining us for NCAA basketball. And then after that, we have Trot Wam joining us for NBA. So we will be moving to the hardwood here
We'll
shortly.
move on, but Jimmy Bag, I'll double up on this one. I'll go with you as well. Nashville -1, minus 107. You can add that to my card as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. So, Pete.
Okay, so I'm doubling up on this one. All right, let's move on, huh?
Minus 107?
Yes.
Okay, you're in.
All right, next game on the card. Here we go. Calgary, Dallas. Dallas won 5 of 6 off a huge home win after an embarrassing huge home loss. And, Calgary, they won 4 of their last 6, but not a particularly impressive run. Before that, they were a losing team. So I was genuinely shocked when I saw this line open Dallas as a home dog. Plus 113 was the first line that I saw. What's interesting is Jacob Markstrom. I'm assuming Markstrom's in goal for Calgary. You see this with MLB pitchers a lot. Some have high volatility, low volatility, average volatility. Markstrom has, I haven't run the numbers on this, just the eye test, but it looks like he has unusually high volatility. It looks like every game he's either given up 0 or 1 or 4 or 5. Seems like he doesn't have as many 2 and 3 goal games as a lot of other goalies. So he's playing well, but when he doesn't do well, he gives up. He gets burned, and so I got that kicking around in my head. Obviously, Dallas excellent at home overall this year, and very surprised to see to see Dallas open as a home underdog. I was thinking maybe there's some key injuries that I don't know about, but I looked into it and didn't see anything. Why did Dallas open as a home dog here, Jim?
I just think their goaltending is not strong. It can't be trusted, and you're going up against Markstrom, who's a top 10 goaltender, near the 10th, spot on that list, but he's a top 10 goaltender in the NHL. Certainly has been this year. And the Stars, I mean, they're just a tricky team. I thought, are they going to go on a nice winning streak here after their road trip? That was a mistake, lose 5-0 to Washington. Of course, they bounce back and destroy Boston 6-1. Both teams are really healthy. Brady says, in my opinion, the first period tie is the best look here. Zlatan says, I was on Dallas versus Caps and they lost 5-0. Why do we like them here? I think that Dallas is going to be able to score. And we know the Flames can score on Holtby. And Mike M says Dallas overspot for me. They've been on that over trend. I think that's the look here. You're getting a 5.5. It's not juiced badly here at Bet365. I think that's the look here. I think that the over is the look here. I don't trust Dallas here. But at this line, if I had a free bet, sure, I'd take Dallas. But Calgary's a really good hockey team. They're coming off that 1-0 win at home over the Canucks on Saturday night. And, I think there's going to be goals.
Calgary's a really good hockey team, Jim? No, they're not. They were a huge favorite. What'd you say?
I don't like their roster. But Darryl Sutter has every opportunity to turn this into a playoff squad. I do question their defense. But up front, that forward group is every facet you covered. You have size, you have skill, you have toughness. You have Kachuk who can do everything. You have Goodrow sniping. You have Monahan and you have Lucic to push people around. Like, I'm surprised that they're 21-13-6. They should have a better record than that.
Especially in light of Markstrom's volatility, which I talked about in the beginning of this segment. If Dallas wins, they probably win by, more than one goal. I'm seeing Dallas -1 at +178, Dallas -1.5 at +272. Is Calgary – okay, fine. Calgary's a good hockey team. Fine. Let's assume for the sake of argument that that's true. Are they that much better than Dallas overall?
It's surprising. 14-9-2 on the road against the Dallas team is 15-5-1. It's surprising. There's Maxwell Smart in the house. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm a little surprised by this.
Yeah. Where is this coming from? I mean,
it's got to be this Jekyll and Hyde idea of the Stars. When their backs are against the wall, they come out fighting and have a big win. When they need to, when they're fat and happy, Ben and Seguin, they're the reach around brothers.
And you think that they're fat and happy now because of the Boston win? Maybe, yeah. Okay. All right, I'll pass. Yeah. But my lean would definitely be to take a shot with, Dallas -1 at +178 or some big line like that. But I guess for now, let's move on. What about that, Jimmy the Bag?
Sure, but I'm going to move on the over. I think there's going to be goals here, a lot of offense, and I know Dallas can score. It just made me so angry they couldn't get us one goal for the over in that Capitals game. It made me enormously upset. But these are two healthy squads, and you're right. It is surprising that a team that's 21-13-6, 14-9-2 on the road would be favored over the Stars. I mean, that's a wild line. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. Here we go. Arizona, Colorado. The line opened at -471. My note here is why Colorado, quote unquote, only -471. I won't do any deep analysis on this game, but for people who aren't familiar with hockey at all, Colorado is friggin' awesome. Arizona is dog shit. That's why the line is, -500 or wherever it's moved to right now. Colorado still winning. Nathan McKinnon out, doesn't matter. They're still winning. Arizona, before you pull the trigger on Arizona -1 or 1.5, they have had some wins and some near wins as a huge road dog this year, including at Colorado, where they were a +517 dog at the close, and they lost, but in a shootout. So they almost won that one. They have some other impressive wins and near misses as a massive dog. So it's not an auto play on Colorado here. I'm not sure what I was expecting this line to be -600, and it's not yet. And Colorado, they were on January 22nd, they were a -650 home fave against Montreal. They did win, but in overtime. What's your take on this one, Jim?
I just wish Vejmelka was in goal. If Vejmelka was in goal, I would have interest in taking a shot against Colorado in the first period. I can't do that with Wedgwood in that. Coyotes have lost 5 straight. They don't look good. The Avs have won 10 straight, come off a 4-1 win at home over the Sabers. It's too bad that they have this winning streak and this home winning streak on the line. When you have those streaks on the line, you do kind of stay focused. I wish they didn't. McKinnon's not coming back until after the All-Star break. So the Avalanche without their captain here, it's shocking. It's shocking that Devon Taves and Cale Makar and Landeskog and Kadri and Rantanen, and it's surprising to me that the market is this confident in them without McKinnon out there. And I guess I just want nothing to do with this game. Birdie says Arizona first period money line for me. Habs have entered uncharted territory here. Look for the Habs to be very tentative early in their next 4 games. Yeah, it's just Wedgwood. Wedgwood is the problem for me here. But if there's only one bet I would possibly make in this game, only one, and that's the Coyotes first period. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing that I would make, and that's the only bet I would make.
What about maybe the first period under 2? I mean, if you look at Colorado's games where they've been this massive of a favorite, the first periods have actually been a little bit lethargic. So in order to lose, you'd have to have 3 goals scored, which of course is entirely possible. But is it? And in fact, the last time Colorado played at home against Arizona, there were 3 goals scored. Colorado won the first period 2-1. But that's something to think about, right? First period under 2 minus 131.
Yeah, let's see what I would get on that. So that'd be curious. So that's a very interesting way of doing it, and I like it.
I mean, is Colorado, after having won 12 games in a row, are they going to come in and just try to lay the hammer down on Arizona to start? Maybe they will. Maybe they'll be like, we don't want to lose this game. We'll be up 3-0 in the first period and then coast the rest of the way. But it seems more like we'll just kind of skate out a couple of skate a period out. I don't know. What do you think, Jim?
I think it's hard to get. You play the Sabers, then you play the Coyotes, and you're about to go on vacation. I think it's hard to stay sharp, and it's the winning streak that will keep them sharp. So I think that's an interesting. It's minus 133 on my book, putting that under first period under 2 together. I would probably, in all honesty, I'd probably prefer going for the score under 1.5 at plus 155.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be. TJ looking at Colorado early. I just don't see how they get up for this. So maybe it's best for me just to stay off this game, but
yeah, let's have a little fun here. Let's have a little fun. I'll take first period under 2 minus 131. Current line of Pinnacle. I'll take that one.
All right, Pete is.
I know this is stupid because in order to win, it's got to be just 1 goal, and Colorado could easily put up 3 in the first period. Of course, we know that. You know what? I'll hold off on that. I think it's probably a decent, slightly positive EV proposition, but I'll hold off. All right, Jim.
Let's roll. Turnsey said line at plus 420, and the team total for Yotes first period is over 1/2 at minus 120. Yeah, we'll I'll spend some time here. We got 5 minutes, and we have 1 game left before we get into NCAA basketball.
Interesting game here, Buffalo and Vegas, kind of similar to the Seattle-Boston game that we started off the NHL segment with, and maybe I'm feeling the same way, and maybe liking it a little bit more. Vegas, of course, returning off of a big road trip that they were looking forward to all season. They were, despite how great Vegas is, an underdog in all 4 games. They went 2-2. They came, the last game was a nice win that they really wanted, and now you got Buffalo, who's actually 3-3 in their last 6. And once again, I'm not necessarily liking Buffalo here. Thinking about taking Buffalo as a big dog, but thinking maybe about Buffalo plus 2 at like minus 117, maybe plus 2.5, something like that. Maybe Buffalo team total over, maybe Vegas team total under. Maybe Buffalo first period. Thinking about taking a sneaky shot with Buffalo because of the spot. What do you think, Jimmy the Bag?
Was my initial bet. I capped the game, and had already written Sabres first period. Then I went over to the injury report to make sure I did my due diligence, and I quickly erased Sabres first period. They're an absolute mess. Tage Thompson is out. It's undisclosed. He's been their most valuable. Well, Rasmus Dahlin has been their most valuable player, but Tage Thompson's been hugely, hugely important, and he's out with an undisclosed injury, so you have no Tage. You have Casey Middlestad returns, and he's now out. You lose Will Butcher, Rasmus Asplund, and Michael Hauser to COVID. Now, Hauser, the goaltender, it's not that big of a deal. But those are 4 guys in Rasmus Asplund, Tage Thompson, and Casey Middlestad, 3 centers that you've lost to, one to COVID and the other 3 to injury in the last 72 hours. I mean, how do you bounce back from that when you're already down Jurgensen, you're already down Jack Quinn and Vinny Hinostroza and Colin Miller? Like, Miller, Hinostroza, and Jack Quinn and Jurgensen were hurt just 2 weeks ago. All of these injuries have happened in the last 3 weeks or a month. Now, look, I do not want Vegas in this spot. They have no Chandler Stevenson. They lose White Cloud and Nicholas Hague, 2 defensemen to injury. And White Cloud will not be available, and Hague's not practicing. So, but look, the way the Sabres are beat up here, you can't take them. You got to stay off this spot. I mean, I don't see how you can even move anywhere on this spot. Vegas minus 500, it's just ludicrous. But
you think they're significantly more beat up than their last game, January 30th at Colorado?
Well, no, I think that is a good example. I think that's a good example for the Arizona game as well. I think that's a prime example of what we can expect on both sides. The Sabres are playing their heart out under Granato. They're fighting hard, but the difference when we see Tage in the lineup, at least for that 4 group, is massive. And I mean, this is a Sabres or no bet.
But they hung with Colorado for a half game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. No, they're playing their hearts out, and Vegas doesn't have Chandler Stevenson, he's been their best player this year. He's their MVP. It's just a complete stay off spot for me.
Okay, what about the under?
That I did cross my mind was the under. Let's just see what they've done with it market wise here. It did cross my mind. It opened up at 6 at a pick'em, so there's been a move towards the over, but even like Chandler Stevenson, it's funny. Chandler Stevenson has almost scored a point a game, but he's not an offense player. He's in all the most important face-offs, and he's so accountable defensively. I'd want him on the ice if I was going for an under. So the under would be the only way I would look, and I don't know if I want to do it.
All right, well, I'll take it. I'm seeing 6.5 minus 128 at Pinnacle right now. I will take that one. Buffalo, Vegas, under 6.5 minus 128. I will take that one. Buffalo, Vegas, under 6.5 minus 128. Jim, you can make that one official.
I did. Let's review all of the action, and then we have NCAA basketball here in 1 minute. So, again, this is probably the first show in a long, long time that I've made no bets on NHL before the show started. So nothing. Pete is on the under 6 at minus 118, and I talked myself into backing the Bruins on the puck line here. I'm just going to see if that's changed from minus 1. No, I have no change there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the Bruins on the puck line. I expect them to bounce back, and I expect them to finish this game strong. Sharks, Tampa Bay, we are off, and that goes the same with the Leafs, Devils. It's too bad that Gillies is in net to scare me off of the under. I am going to move on the under 6.5 in Florida, New York Rangers, but I will wait. I will wait up until 30 minutes before puck drop. I just expect a ton of public action to be on the over. Speaking of which, I would just like to see if that's happened here. Let me just move over to Sports Insights and see if that has happened. I expect that would have been the case. I expect that the tickets will be high and the money will be low on the over. So let's get this up here. Here we go. The over has, oh man, 71% of the tickets are on the over and 99% of the cash. Okay, so that kind of doesn't go with the plan, but it does tell me that the market will move in that direction and give me a better line if I want to move on it, which I do. Jets, Flyers, we've stayed off. Pete, you've moved on the Penguins -1 at even money, and that makes sense to me. It really does. They've just played bad hockey, and the Capitals are not to be trusted right now, and they're coming off that 5-0 win. Maybe they think they're in a better spot. Bonquicui says, Pete, or it says how many people are on the Islanders puck line. Pete's on the Islanders on the -1, paying the cost for that at -174. I don't know what to do with the under. And Birdie made a statement about the Senators not looking good on the under. In the second half of back-to-backs, they seem to lose their legs defensively. Pete, you've doubled up in the Canucks-Preds game. Canucks team total under 2.5. Preds -1, -107. I am going to take the Preds and go against my knuckleheads on the -1 line. I'm going to move on the over 5.5 in Calgary-Dallas. I have some interest in that first period under 1.5. I really do. And that's at +155. You moved on the under 2 at -131. And then you moved on the under 6.5 in Buffalo-Vegas. There you have it. There's our action. Pete, anything you want to add to that, or do we move on to college basketball?
Not really, but very tempting to take a shot with Buffalo +2.5 at just -128. But let's move on, Jim.
Well, the last time we were in that situation with Colorado in a similar number, it was even bigger. They covered that very comfortably, very easily against Arizona against Colorado. Okay, so let's move on to college basketball. I can't wait to have your next guest on. Man, has he been running hot, and we're all learning a lot about volume betting, watching him work. Friday, January 28th, he went 2 wins and 1 loss, but plus 1.78 units. He cheated moved to the alternate lines. I shouldn't say cheated, he moved to the alternate lines. And there were people in the chat saying, well, that doesn't make any sense. You're already getting a plus line, blah, blah, blah. But look, Ohio -2.5 at +165 cashed easily. Cleveland State -1.5 at +125. And that was the one he was sort of taking heat on. And now instead of getting like a tiny plus line, he gets +125. They both cash. It was very, very impressive work. He's now plus 9.23 units. Listen to this, Pete, in 86 and 76. So we have, 162 bets made. His ROI is at plus 5.70%.
Very nice.
It's so impressive. And you are running so hot as well. We have the right guys for the job for college basketball. But please welcome to the show the Cupcake King, Maxwell Smart.
Be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah.
There we go. Maxwell Smart intro video locked in. How are you, my man?
Very nice.
I'm not on mute, so that's always a good thing, but I'm glad to be here with you guys. Shout out to Jose for a very funny video. I like that a lot. And, it's been a good it's been a good month. It's hopefully something that can carry over to next month. I think that at this point in the season, we have a pretty good grasp of what we're dealing with when it comes to a lot of these teams and being able to find the right numbers for them. I want to add on to your point, Jim, that while we do have the option of taking these dogs as a straight up money line winner, I'm a game log guy. I'm a box score guy. I love to just ingest that info, and I see underdogs every night winning games by more than 1 point. So why shouldn't we stack our freaking bets a little and make a little extra? So I'm gonna keep on doing it, and I hope that you guys find some value in it also, because it's something you could easily do on your own also.
We've loved it. We've absolutely loved watching you work, and let's get right to work right now. We have Maxwell Smart joining us right now. Get your games in. We start with Dabby Cab. Dabby Cab looking at Michigan State, Maryland. Let's get over there and see what we are dealing with. Opening Maryland at +5. We see 3.5s across the board right now, and this total, and this is a rotation number 615, 616. We have this total opening up at 139, and we see 137s and 137 and a half. Maxwell Smart, Michigan State, Maryland.
Yeah, listen, we're seeing a really more competent and confident Max Christie, and that's going to go a long way in helping Michigan State be able to sustain some of their winning ways that they've been able to find recently. Going out on the road against this Maryland team is going to be difficult. Michigan State's going to have to dominate on the glass. If they don't win on the glass versus this Maryland team, Maryland's going to get those extra opportunities. They're going to be able to get those extra 3-point looks. And with guys like freaking Hakeem Hart, Dante Scott company to go along with Ayel and Fats Russell, defense is going to be key. I don't think that Maryland is able to consistently get into the 70s. We've seen that the Danny Manning effect wore off quite quickly. And I think that Michigan State can come out and make a statement. With the line moving the way that it is in favor of the home dog, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait and see how much I can juice out of this because once again, play your line, not the book's line.
Absolutely. Well put.
Yeah.
Pistol Pete, Michigan State, Maryland. Did you take a look at this?
First of all, I didn't look at most of the games on this card, but this is one that I did look at. It's very scary to bet against Tom Izzo late in the year. I rarely do that, which is part of why I've had some success in college basketball over the years. But this spot, I kind of wanted Maryland. There's a lot of volatility here. And Maxwell Smart, what you were talking about before, if you cap high volatility, you want to take big dog lines. Illinois, you can't discount the win. The win against Illinois a few days ago. I mean, obviously they get blown the F out by Indiana and beat Illinois by double digits. So that tells you all you need to know about what's up with Maryland, which is a team that can absolutely fall flat on its face at any point, but also get a good win over legit quality teams. And again, I don't really want to bet against Tom Izzo, but I was definitely leaning Maryland. Now that it's down to 3.5, I'd be leaning that way less. But for me, it would be Maryland or nothing.
We move on to rotation number 623, 624. This is another Dabby Cab spot. He wants Max to talk about Texas A&M, Tennessee. This total opened up at 132. We now see 131.5. I'm using the Action Network and not the site that we'd been using for years. So I don't have which book that is the opening line at. But 12.5 was the opener, and now we have 11s and 10.5 at BetMGM. Texas A&M, Tennessee Volunteers. Max, take it away.
Yeah, listen, I just go off the numbers, and what the numbers tell me when I look at Tennessee is that Tennessee's not a good starter. Tennessee has problems laying these types of lines. This is a game where I'm just not going to fall into the trap. Yes, they're a better shooting team. They're a better 40-minute team. And with Santiago Vescovi being able to hit threes like he can, and then freaking Ziegler being able to show up and be the lead guard on this team, taking that, it's a tough spot for me to get on. But if I look at the numbers, I take my emotion, my bias, and my hate for Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey out of it. I roll with A&M first half, and maybe I freaking take a little shot on them on the first half money line.
There you go, Pete. I'll leave it to you to just jump in anytime.
Yeah, no, I'll jump in. Pass for me on this one, although I did look at it a little bit. Yeah.
All right, next up, we have big games that Dabby Cab wants to talk about. So next up, let me pull it up. We have North Carolina Tar Heels at Louisville Cardinal. Cardinal opening up as 3.5-point dogs. We've seen no change there. And when we get to the total, no change from 145.5. So not a lot of market movement in this spot, Max. Take it away, Tar Heels, Cardinal.
Yeah, this is Operation I'm going to smash you, Louisville, if I'm North Carolina. North Carolina has a perfect opportunity to take advantage of a Louisville team that barely has a double-digit score, and Malik Williams is right on the 10 dot. This is a team that is lost. This is a team that is prime for the pickings, and I don't understand how we don't go first half full game with them, even on the road, as a road favorite. For me, there's something about this UNC team about how Hubert Davis has elevated this guard play. The problem is, while this team has been able to score the basketball more, they haven't been able to defend it recently. And while I do love the fact that they have such a big advantage at the free throw line, where I think that they can outscore Louisville by 10 plus, and that could be a big plus money score. The way I have to bet this game is on the additional on the additional spread. This is a North Carolina 10-point win, in my opinion. So why not freaking be brazen with it? I think that obviously 10 at plus 225 is a little too crazy for me, but at 6.5 at plus 140, that seems like a good number.
All right, let's keep rolling
Jim,
here.
we're gonna make that official. Sorry about that.
Ooh, we're making that official. Okay, beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful.
Yes,
So that is minus
North
6.
Carolina minus 6.5 plus 140.
All right, Max is in. We have North Carolina minus 6.5 at plus 140 on the alternate lines. We are off and rolling. Next up, we have Northern Illinois, Western Michigan. Northern Illinois, Western Michigan. Let me pull this up here. There we go. This total opened up at 136.5. It's up to 137 or 137.5. And on the spread, we have Western Michigan opening up at -2. Now we see 3.5s and 4s on the board, Max. Do you agree with this market move towards Western Michigan?
Yes, I agree with the move towards Western Michigan, but what I bet in the game was the over. I think that with NIU, we are seeing an attempt to try and uplift this offense a little more by inserting Keyshawn Williams into the starting lineup alongside Trenton Hankerson and Anthony Crump. I think that has negatives and positives, and it's really still something that I got to wait and see, get a little more data on before I make a overall conclusion. But NIU does not shoot the free throw well. When you leave points on the road like that, it's very hard to cover versus a Western Michigan team that, let's face it, has a lot of interest, at least early on in games. Against an opponent like this, they should be able to dominate. They should be able to really get Lamar Norman going. And with Lamar Norman, he's the answer offensively. He's a guy that can break out for a 30-point game. And when you have the versatility and support of Brian Artis-White and Marquise Hastings, you do have a lot of inside-out action and a lot of room to create space for driving lanes for him. Titus Wright defensively is going to have to produce on the glass and be a good rim protector. I think this is a Western Michigan smash spot, and I also think that the game goes over.
That's what I was thinking as well, and I was thinking about the Western Michigan team total over at 70. You like that one, right, Max?
Absolutely, because if the over doesn't hit and it turns into a rout for Western Michigan, what happens? Team totals go over for the favorite and the full game ends up staying under.
All right, you can throw that on official for me, Jim. I'm seeing at Heritage right now, 70 minus 110. I'll take that one. Western Michigan, team total over 70 minus 110.
Over 70 at minus 110. And you are coming off catching that with Toledo on last Tuesday's show. We have Ron Crawford in the house. Shout out to Ron Crawford. He's given us 2 spots on the card. First off, in NHL, he's given us Tampa Bay Lightning minus 1.5. Then here in college basketball, he has given us Iowa State. He's on Iowa State plus the points. Shout out to Ron Crawford. And let's hear what Maxwell Smart has to say about this Kansas-Iowa State. Iowa State opening here on the Action Network at plus 3.5, now at plus 2.5. And the total here is opening at 136.5, now at 137 or 137.5. Max, take it away.
Yeah, listen, I think that from a situational standpoint, could there be an angrier Jayhawk team going into freaking Hilton Coliseum?
No.
This is...
I can answer that. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think obviously with this Kansas team, situationally, it's a first half Kansas spot. I'm not sure about full game. It's really going to be a wait and see about pace and tempo. You do have a very nice freshman point guard in Tyrese Hunter that's got to continue to be able to play those 30 minutes, limit his turnovers, be a pest on defense, and be able to play with fouls if he picks up a couple early ones. I like this Iowa State team from a full game perspective, but this definitely has a reek of tale of two halves. We've seen Iowa State definitely struggle from the 3-point line and put up a lot more of them lately. So if that trend is going to continue, that is going to take away one of their best and most consistent offensive weapons. I think that this is a Kansas first half spot, and it could turn into an Iowa full game spot, but I'm not there on either bet yet.
Next up,
Go ahead. I was going to say that, I looked at this game, and that's exactly what I was thinking. And I was thinking, obviously, Kansas. It could be Kansas is down again at the half, and then they come roaring back. And I don't really want to bet against Iowa State here, but the first game that they played, where Iowa State was a huge road dog and it went down to the wire. Is that legitimately who these teams are, or can we expect Kansas to have the personnel to actually be able to come out and have a strong first half if they want to?
Listen, I think that they can, because of how embarrassing that loss was to Kentucky. With a Bill Self and a prestigious blue blood program like that, you can't have embarrassing performances like that on national television. If they had lost the game, then maybe I look at this game a little different, and probably the line is a little different. I think that it's very enticing on both sides. But if you're going to pick one, I'm going to give myself the option of live betting the game once I've seen 20 minutes of action.
It's just that Iowa State is a legitimately undervalued team, I think, right now, which we see year in and year out. And Kansas is often a legitimately overvalued team, which they probably are right now as well. Right, Max?
That is true, but I'll also say this, and I'll add on, Iowa State's best performances haven't been at home. They've been on the road.
Right. Okay, you can add that, Jim. I'll take that one. Kansas first half -1. Current line at Heritage. I'm not actually seeing it at Pinnacle right now. It might have been taken down for a second, but I'll take Kansas first half -1, -110.
You are locked in to add to your Western Michigan spot. Max, we move on. We move on. I believe it's Sammy Culmer looking for Texas Tech. Let's go there now. This total is fired way up, opening up at 118.5. DraftKings at 124 here. The other books at 122.5 or 123. When we go to the spread, and sorry, this is rotation number 641, 642. Texas Tech opening up at -4.5. Points bet, MGM are still there, but DraftKings and FanDuel have moved to 4. Take it away, Max. Texas Tech.
When you saw the Texas bus try to freaking let the freaking players and coaching staff out, there were Texas Tech Raider fans giving the finger to the bus, telling you, fuck you, Beard, all this kind of shit. And the bus ended up backing up and backing out. So I think that it's going to be a real loud building tonight. I think that Texas Tech has to win this game, but I don't want to bet anything from a side perspective. I think that it's just weird to see Texas in this underdog spot. And when they have been, they haven't done very well. And with their defense on the road, it's very different than their defense at home. I think that this is a Texas Tech team that can score the basketball with multiple different lineups. Hopefully they have Terrence Shannon in the lineup, but that's going to put pressure on Kevin McCullough. Kevin McCullough's got to be the engine that runs his offense, and then allow Bryson Williams and freaking Kevin O'Banner, Adonis Arms to work off of that. This is Texas Tech's biggest challenge. If they don't win this game, there may be a freaking riot and a storming of the court. So for my play though, Jim, because I do like a play pretty heavily in this spot, is I'm going to take that over. I'm not going to mess with the first half over, because I do think that with these teams, we are going to see elevated scoring in the second half. But at 122.5, that's just too good to resist in this kind of emotional game.
All right. Let me see if I can beat that at all here. Get some low juice for you. 122.5 at -107 over at Circa. And then I'll pull up Pinnacle. So I'll see what I can get you for the over 122.5 Texas.
Sorry, we're going to have to revisit the Iowa State-Kansas game. We just found out that Abaji did not travel to Iowa State and will not play tonight.
All right. So then my first half is canceled, right, Jim?
Yeah, sure. I mean, absolutely. So, so do you want to touch on that, Max, how that changes things, and we'll quickly move on?
You're taking an All-American type player out of the lineup. Obviously, we do know that in professional sports and now in also college sports, teams without their best players step up. But for me now, that just changes the whole situation. Just makes me want to stay away.
Okay. So that's in the Kansas game. So we have Kansas off the board for Pete, and Max didn't move on it. All right, let's keep rolling. Next up, we have our guy Mike M wanting to talk about Providence St. John. St. John's opening up as 2-point favorites. It's 3 at DraftKings, 2.5 at FanDuel and PointsBet. When we move over to the total, we have it opening up at 145, now 146 or 146.5. Max, take it away. Rotation number 639, 640, Providence St. John's.
Listen, I'm borderline disgusted that a Big East team is having such a great season when I'm a UConn fan, but Providence at this number, if it's 3 or if it's 3 or more, then I definitely like them on the spread. But I'm feeling brazen, Jim. I'm feeling brazen. I'm feeling like fucking my eyes open. I'm feeling like taking Gus's money. I'm also having thoughts of having adult relations with his girlfriend. So let's go with a spot. Let's get freaking fancy with it. Providence has deserved our respect. They have earned our respect. They've gone out on the road, and that's where the question will lie. I think that this is a Providence outright win. So give me the money line. We're going Providence official play.
Providence money line. You cashed very easily with them last week, and we're going back to the well on Providence. I'm going to line shop for you. While I do that, let's just keep rolling. Next up, Pound Cake Pusha wants to talk Davidson and your Bonnies. We love when you talk about St. Bonaventure. This total's dropped 3 or 3.5, or depending on where you shop. FanDuel still open at 139. FanDuel has a 137. DraftKings 136. BetMGM 135.5. We go over to the spread here in this spot. Rotation number 611, 612. The Bonnies open up as 2.5-point favorites. Most books have moved to 3. Max, take it away here. Davidson, St. Bonaventure.
That number on the total, Jim, is getting steamed towards the under as we sit here, and I am extremely nervous about telling people what to bet on this game. I think that when you look at it, Davidson has players that have played against this St. Bonaventure team and in the Bonnies building and have scored very consistently and efficiently. There's only one game in the last 4 or 5 that they didn't get past 70 points. So I do worry about Davidson bringing that good historical shooting into the Bonnies building and really putting them through the freaking rinse cycle. I think that when you look at Hai Jung Lee and Foster Lawyer, these are the guys that got to step up and be leading this offense. I think that if you don't see an offensive first half, Davidson's probably losing at the half. However, it's just, I feel like I have too big of a bias towards the Bonnies and the Bonnies at home, where they've been very different than they've been on the road. You know, there have been some slow first half starts, but then there've been some freaking gigantic second half comebacks. I'm going to be on the Bonnies, but I have no qualms with people betting against them. I just think that on the road, it's a better freaking decision than betting against them at home.
I love it. I love it. Pete, jump in anytime here. But your Providence and Nut Flush saw it too at plus 135. Circa's got a plus 135. The other books have it at plus 120. So that's 15 cents better over at Circa.
That doesn't even sound that good, Jim.
Well, you want to take a minus 1.5, man?
I think that we got to, bro. This is.
Oh, but the problem there is that Bet365 has them at plus 120.
Oh,
so you're already getting 15 cents.
I was just about to look at that.
Yeah, so that's the problem. So you're already getting 15 cents better on the money line just being over at Circa. So if we go to the alternate point spread,
we'll take it for the show, but I'm betting minus 1.5 plus 150 on Bet365.
Oh wow! So that must have changed because I have that at minus 1.5 and plus 130 at Bet365. Let me refresh. Maybe that's what I need to do. Yeah, I have that 1.5 and plus 130. But you're getting plus 135 money line at Circa, clean and swift. Let's move on. That was for Pound Cake. Push of respect. Thank you for rolling with us. Next up, we have Eric Jones. And I know that the Pac-12 is not a conference you enjoy hammering. He's talking about Cal Stanford. He also has another game, Kent State, Miami of Ohio. Do you have any interest in discussing this Cal Stanford spot with the Stanford 5-point favorites at home?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't even look at the Cal Stanford game.
I get it. You focus on what you succeed with. Let's move over to this Kent State spot. Miami of Ohio opening up as 2-point favorites. And now FanDuel has them as 1.5-point dogs. PointsBet 1-point dog. Very, very interesting. And then from a total perspective, we have it opening up at 137.5, now 136.5. Max, take it away.
Yeah, this is a Miami, Ohio team that is definitely experienced, capable, and can really push the tempo because they're a very good free throw shooting team. I like how Day Grant has been able to continue his maturation, but it's more about what you're getting off the bench from Kamari Williams, from Isaiah Coleman-Lambs, James Beck. If Miami plays a full 40 minutes, I do think that they can win this game at home. You know, Kent State is relying on their defense and relying on Sincere Carey. If Sincere Carey doesn't have a big game offensively for them, they could freaking put them down. I think that when you look at how Miami, Ohio got steamrolled in the first half versus Eastern Michigan, it makes me like them that much more to come out strong on their home floor. Let's not forget that they won the second half by 17 points and they put up 47. So we may get an angry, determined, and very rim-oriented shooting team. And I like that. I don't want to see Miami, Ohio settle for jump shots. This is a team that does a really good job on both sides of the glass. They share the basketball very well on the interior, and they can get a lot of easy shots. So if Miami can create offensive transition opportunities with their defense and rebounding, then I think that they're going to win this game. And I'm going to take them -2.5, and I'm going to take them +125, Jim.
Ooh-wee. All right, let's lock that in. Miami of Ohio -2.5 at +125. 4 official bets from Maxwell Smart have come in. 3 of them plus lines. North Carolina, alternate line -6.5 +140. Providence +135. Miami, alternate line -3.5 +125. And then that Texas Tech over 122.5. Pete has moved on Western Michigan. Team total over 70 at -110. Next up is our guy, Jay Peasy. Jay Peasy wanting to talk UC Davis Riverside. This total opened up at 129.5. It's now, you can still get it there, or 130.5 also available. And then from the spread, you have UC Riverside opening up as 6.5-point favorites. Now we have 5.5 and 5s. Max, take it away.
Yeah, this is a number where I think that it's pretty close to being on point for the total. If it gets up to 132, I'm going to like it a lot better. With Riverside, we have seen a lot of these games stay under their number. It's more UC Davis that I'm worried about. With Riverside at home, you know, it's just not a consistent performance right now, and it's really because of poor three-point shooting. This was a 40% three-point shooting team last year, and the difference without Jock, Perry, and Chisholm has made a huge difference. What this team does do well, and I do have positive things to say about them, is that they do a great job of getting to the rim off ball screens, getting to the rim off their offensive rebounding. That's what they're going to need to do, because the last couple of games, and we've seen the results, the offensive rebounding just hasn't been there. I think that UC Davis, they're ones that you got to worry about crashing the glass. They have guards that go for it. I think at the end of the day, though, this is a spot where I have to look at Riverside. I think that Riverside is able to win this game. I think that if you can get 4.5 or 5, then I like that number a lot better. And when it comes to the under, you know, I'd rather wait and see how much I can get this game to go up before I freaking fade the line movement.
Max, the last game being asked about is from About Buck. About Buck, Toledo, Eastern Michigan. Toledo opening up as 11-point favorites. Now we see 10.5s and a 10. This is rotation number 625, 626. And when we look at the total here in this Toledo Eastern Michigan spot, it's gone from 148 to 149.5, 150. Pete, you cashed with Toledo team total over last week. Why don't we start with you? Do you have any interest in going back to the well here against Eastern Michigan?
No, I didn't. It's an interesting matchup. I didn't. I put it off and didn't have time to revisit it. So no opinion as of right now.
All right, Maxwell, take it away.
Listen, from a total perspective, it's a little more difficult of a game to get involved with because at this line, you know, 150 is a game that really can be more Toledo covering on the spread if it goes over, but Eastern Michigan has shown an ability to score the basketball frequently themselves. I think that with Eastern Michigan, it's really the focus on them. They've been much better at home, but having that second half performance against Miami, Ohio really opened my eyes up to the potential that they could be up at halftime and blow that lead. I think that they have to be able to get to the free throw line, and they got to have all their weapons available. Monty Scott's back in the lineup. Noah Farrakhan's back in the lineup. Bryce McBride's back in the lineup. And you see what I'm getting at. Eastern Michigan hasn't been at their freaking complete healthiest. And now it seems like they are. So with Thomas Benelli also back in the lineup, there's a lot of guys that can give you good performances on those familiar sight lines. Toledo has been a cash cow in conference. We all know that. If you've been making money with them, you probably want to look at them in some way today. I think that they're gonna freaking go in, and I think that they're gonna beat Eastern Michigan offensively, and I think that they're going to shut them down defensively. I'm not there yet, Jim, but I'm looking at Toledo's high as 13 points.
Wow. Very, very interesting from Maxwell Smart. Max, just a taint hair under double-digit units up on the season with an ROI at 5.70% with 162 bets in. He's been spectacular. We have one last game. We'll do one last game from Cashman, our guy Cashman, who will be hanging with us in San Antonio. He says Seton Hall, Georgetown. Says Georgetown fan, but think Hall kills them. Georgetown is bad. Ewing may have to go. Over at Pinnacle right now, they've got Seton Hall as 7-point favorites, and this total at 149.5, Max.
Yeah, this is a spot where I hate Seton Hall, guys. I have a real distaste for them. I don't want to get into it on the show. I think that the only way to look at this game would be for Georgetown to have a good first half and then to live bet the game. With Seton Hall's second half performance and their ability to shoot volume free throws at close to 75%, it's a difficult team to match up with, but Georgetown does have size. Georgetown does have Donald Carey and Dante Harris healthy and back in the lineup, and this could be a real nice game for Caden Rice to slide under the radar and be able to hit a couple threes from the perimeter early and give Georgetown a nice boost. For me, it's a spot where I lean towards Georgetown first half, but I do not have anything that I've actually put my money on in the game.
Well, you've given us 4 looks on this show, so you've given us a ton, and we're thankful for it. Max is on North Carolina -6.5 at +140. Texas Tech over 122.5 at -107, and that number's climbing quickly. It's moved to 123 at Pinnacle. It's still at 122.5 -107 over at Circa Sports. Providence +135. Miami of Ohio -2.5. at +125. Pistol Pete Loshak moved on the Western Michigan team total over 70 at -110, and both cappers are doing exceptionally well. Anything you want to add?
Can I ask just a few quick questions? Just 10-second opinions from Maxwell Smart.
Absolutely.
First of all, I did take on the overnight. I did take BC Virginia under at 119.5. I see it's now down to 118.5, but I might make that one official. That I don't really need any feedback on. But I did also take Siena. I bit at 4.5. That's now down to 3.5. I also kind of like the over, and that's gotten bet up. Maxwell Smart, is someone out for Siena or something? Why would Siena be getting bet down here? I took them at 4.5. Now it's down to 3.5.
I'm not sure what's going on roster-wise with Siena. From my impression of watching their last game, they were healthy and they were doing very well. I think that with Canisius, they definitely have been a good double-digit dog, but we're now asking them to pretty much win the game. I think you're on the right path with Siena, especially at home. And look at that second half dominance. That's something that they've done 3 or 4 times already at home, if I go back to their game logs. And I think that you're on the right spot regardless of where the line's going.
Okay, you can make that one official, Jimmy the Bag. I'll take the current Pinnacle line, -3.5, -109. Siena, I'll take it.
All right. We have an addition for Pistol Pete Loshak, Siena -3.5.
And one other very quick question. Okay. I also took a small shot with Rutgers +5. I know that might be a little bit stupid. Both these teams, can look good or bad at any given time. But this seems like it's going to be a roughly evenly matched game. You give Rutgers 5 points, I'll bite, but that might have been a mistake because I think I saw it up to 5.5. Quickly, what's your take on that, Maxwell Smart?
Yeah, for Rutgers, I think that they've overcome their road issues, and I do think that this is more of a teaser spot where I'd like to tease Northwestern down to 0.5 point, and I'd rather tease Rutgers up to 10.5.
So that means you do like Rutgers because you
Yes,
expect
I
it to be
do.
a close game.
Yes.
Okay, you can, Jimmy the Bag, you can, let me just quickly check. You can throw that one on as well. I'm seeing Rutgers +5 -109. I'll take that. You can throw that one on there. Rutgers +5 -109. That's an official play. That's at Pinnacle. And then what do you think, Maxwell Smart? BC, Virginia, I took it at 119.5. Now it's down to 118.5. You know, these Virginia totals are interesting, but BC is also a team that can play some of these low-scoring games, and I wouldn't be surprised this is one of those games that actually goes under by 10 points.
It's definitely a spot where I was considering taking a team total under on Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Boston College has that stinginess with the Langford brothers and Jaden Zachary's three-point shooting. It's a tough number, but I'd probably, if you gave me a free bet, I'd ride with you on the under.
Okay, who the fuck are the Langford brothers? Who the fuck is that?
Makai Ashton and DeMar Langford.
Oh, okay. All right, you know what? You can throw that one on as well. I'm seeing 118.5 minus 108 at minus 110 at Heritage. I'll take that one. BC, Virginia under 118.5 minus 110. Jimmy the Bag.
Locked in, Pete. You are in a business. Bananas and grapes. You've come to the right place. Let's get yourself some liquids, sit down, relax, and let's cap together. So 4 picks for both of our cappers here.
I'm sorry. This is only take 10 seconds. How about that, Jimmy the Bag, right? Okay. Last show we did, Maxwell Smart, the obvious play, and Matty Ice talked about it, was William and Mary, right? I took him at 13. In the show, they were at 14.5, so money had come the other way. Of course, they wound up covering by 10 points easily. They almost won that game. And on today's card, the sort of obvious situation that's maybe similar, maybe not, is Air Force getting like 15 or whatever against Utah State. Can you give us a 8-second opinion of that, Maxwell Smart?
From a number perspective, it should be 10. From a personnel perspective, Ethan Taylor, Jake Heidbreder, they give the perfect amount of support to AJ Walker to cover this number.
Okay. All right. I'll hold off. Thank you very much, Maxwell Smart.
I love it. Maxwell Smart. Rapid fire with Pistol Pete Loshak. Each man has 4 official picks. Again, Max, North Carolina -6.5 +140. Texas Tech over 122.5 -107. Providence +135. Miami of Ohio -2.5 +125. Pete's on the Western Michigan team total over 70. Siena -3.5 -108. Rutgers +5 at -109. And VCU Virginia under 118.5 -110. You might have heard the -108, Pete. That is because our Billy Friedrich found you 1 cent cheaper over at bookmaker. So shout out to Billy.
For which line?
That is for your Siena -3.5 is -1.
Hell yeah! Shout out to Billy Friedrich.
Chris Brady says Max is the GOAT. We cherish the opportunity to cap college basketball with you, Max. Thank you for joining our show Tuesday to Friday. You add so much to it. We love you. Any last words? But make sure you catch Max Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. alongside Connor, Mac. You got C-Mac and Max breaking down the NCAA college card. Max, any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Listen, if you have a local like I do, like Gus, you want to punish him every day in multiple sports. I can only do it in college basketball, and I'm punishing him. Hopefully his girlfriend decides to leave him and move in with me, and then we'll be good. But until then, I'm just going to be satisfied taking his money. We're going to do it again tonight, and let's get those plus prices. Chicken tenders need to be paid for. Honey mustard needs to be lobbied to be taken off the market. And local strippers need silk panties. And who's going to have to flip the bill? Us. Take care, guys.
You're absolutely right. Maxwell Smart in the house.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah.
Just watch it on loop.
Hell
I
yeah.
can just watch it over and over and over and over again. Maxwell Smart in the house. Now we're going to go into NBA here.
I was just
in
going
a
to say
second.
that I need to step up my do you have any last words game in light of what Maxwell Smart is doing week in and week out in these videos. And I will, Jimmy the Bag. He gives you that. You ask me, do I have any last words? I'm like, not really. Shout out to everyone. I love you all. I'll step it up.
Well, you know who has been stepping it up for us day after day, week after week, being an extremely crucial part of the show is our producer, the man on the ones and twos, Jose Bouquet, who put that Maxwell Smart video together. And it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've had action from Maxwell Smart. Action from him, and we do right now. Say hey action from Jose Bouquet. And again, Jose is being excellent on this show, and he is sitting right now 82 and 76, 51.9% plus 11.65 units, ROI plus 7.37%, average line plus 106. Please welcome to the show the producer on the ones and twos making this all happen, Jose Bouquet. Jose, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'll keep this short and sweet because I see Trot Wam's smiling face back there waiting, and I'd love to hear his NBA analysis. Texas Tech is going to smack the shit out of Texas tonight. It's going to be a raucous environment. Jim, there's only two things to do in Lubbock, Texas. One of them is drink. The other one is go to Texas Tech Athletics. I'll take Texas Tech -4 at Pinnacle -108. It's going to be a beating. I also kind of like the under as well. Because I think it'll be a tight game at first. I think both teams will be a little nervous. Texas, the Rockets environment, Texas Tech might be a little overwhelmed at first, but Texas Tech smacks the shit out of Texas.
That's very interesting. I looked at that game, Jose. I mean, obviously Texas Tech has been dominating ATS-wise and covering by margins, but Texas is not that great ATS because they're always a favorite. And when they came out at +6, I thought that's got to be the play, but I stayed off it because I don't want to fade Texas Tech. But you think they're that much better than Texas, huh?
Well, Pete, here's the thing about my capping. Here's the thing, Pete. I'm a different type of capper. Some people will look at numbers. Some people will look at rosters like Maxwell Smart. Maxwell Smart knows the rosters of all these college basketball teams like the back of his dick. So I can't do all that. I'll admit it. I'm a feel guy, Pete. And when I saw all the fans literally outside, not allowing the bus to come in, flicking off the bus the whole time, telling Chris Beard, fuck you, calling him Judas, you just have a feeling, Pete. And when these games come around, you have to take advantage of them. Judas walks into the building, and it's time for Texas Tech to eat.
All right. Go ahead.
What side is the back of the dick?
The dick would be the back of your dick would be the one facing you up because the front is the bottom is the hole. So,
okay, and you only have one hole
on my dick. Yes.
Okay, Pete, you did have a question.
No, I was just going to say that feel. If you have an edge based on feel, that is something that will last because the quant guys can't quantify feel. When you ask them to, they're just like, that's just too stupid. I'm not putting that in my model. So if you do have an edge that way, Jose, that's going to last you. Congratulations if you do.
Thank you. We're built different here, Pete. We're built different.
Yeah. I do have one more question, Jose, quickly. Can you jump back on quickly? One last question. Are those your stubby, unathletic fingers dipping the chicken into the honey?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Those are my stubby, unathletic fingers. You know it. I'm glad that you noticed. I mean, I could be a finger model.
All right, there he is, old one-hole Bouquet in the house with a look on Texas Tech. We moved from college basketball. Jared, your holes on the bottom. That's what we call your bottom mouth down there. That hole is your bottom mouth. Your prison pocket, aka bottom mouth. We have lots of words for it. All right, but let's move on to NBA basketball and our special guest who rolls with us every Tuesday, and he has booked his flight, his hotel, which we may do a little switch on the hotel, but he's got his wife staying at the Hilton. I mean, why wouldn't he? He's a baller. He will be in San Antonio with us, and he will be there for the poker tournament. This man won a couple K in our last big poker tournament, and I can't wait to spend time with you and your wife, man. I love hanging out with you guys. Please welcome to the show, Wham Bam, Trot Wam in the house. Bam, how are you?
What's up? What's up? What's up with you guys? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling?
Trot Wam?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, Pete. I'm feeling good. Yeah. It's kind of hell of a transition though. From back of the dick and shit, you know, that's a hell of a transition, but
that's their material. I can't speak for that. You know, it's what they do, and I let them do it. Obviously, some people love it, so it's great. It helps ratings. I did that.
Thank you for your graciousness, Pete. Thank you. Let's move right to work. Trot Wam, we have some fascinating opportunities for us to attack here. Let me pull up the market movements and move it over to NBA. And we move on to New Orleans Pelicans, 18-32, 7-19 on the road at Detroit Pistons, 12-37, 8-15 at home. We're at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. This total opened up at 213.5 and is shot up to 216.5 at DraftKings and FanDuel. When we go over to the spread, we have the Pistons opening up at -1, and now we have 2.5s and -3s on the board. Man, the Pistons are a tricky squad, and they seem to step up against good teams, and I like to fade them against bad teams. I did just that on Friday. I took the Magic -2.5 against the Pistons, and I received this message right away. Right away, like instantaneously. He said, lost both their last games to the Pistons, and Pistons looking really good. Bad play. That's what I got. I won't say his name. I don't need to make fun of him like that. But that was just instantaneously. And whenever I get those messages from somebody, I know I'm on a winning side. So let's move over to the cash flow here and see what we are dealing with. We have 5,396 tickets in, 57% of the tickets, 60% of the cash on the Detroit Pistons. And from a total perspective, only 31% of the tickets are on the over, but 93% of the cash. And we see the market moving towards the cash, or towards the over. Pelicans coming off their fourth straight loss, 93-90 at Cleveland last night. New Orleans started the season 3-16, 15-16 since. They're playing good basketball, even without Brandon Ingram in the lineup, who's missed the last 5 straight because of a sprained ankle. Now, I should tap the brakes a bit because they are 2-12 in games that he's missed this season. Jackson Hayes, Jonas Valanciunas going up against Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and they won they played good ball. Let me just leave it at that. Pistons have won 5 of 12 after a 7-30 start. They overcame a 15-0 deficit to start the game. Take it away. Oh, Pistol Pete, let's start with you. You have any feel of this Pelicans-Pistons spot?
Yeah, definitely. I understand the Pistons are not a good team, but last Tuesday we talked about that Denver game, and we all thought that they shouldn't really be getting 7 points, maybe a little bit disrespected by the market. And I made that an official pick, and they lost by 5. So it was close, but we got a win on it. And I kind of feel the same way here. They have covered 5 of their last 6. I understand they're not a good team, but on the overnight, I did take this one at -2. Now it's up to 2.5. I feel the same way as last Tuesday against Denver. Detroit just getting a little bit disrespected on the market, and I like him again here, and I like him even at -2.5. Right, Trot Wam? No.
Hey man, we were ahead of the game last Tuesday. We said Jeremy Grant was coming back. It's actually this Tuesday. Jeremy Grant is coming back. Brandon Ingram, he didn't play the last game. It's questionable today. I think they already ruled out Josh Hart already. It's very interesting to see this team get favored. Like you said, 3s. That's crazy. That's crazy to think that this Pistons team is going to be a favorite here. But this team has a better offensive rating over the last 5 games, 19th to 24th. 24th ranked is the Pelicans. Seems like in the last game that Jeremy Grant played, it was actually against this Pelican team where they lost their 20s. I believe it was 22nd. Their 11th straight game. He's missed 22 games. So him coming back is going to be a lot of help here. But both of these teams are actually in a pretty good reasoning too to back in the first half, because for the last 5 games, the Pistons at the house, they covered 4 of those last 5. for the last 5 games. For the Pelicans on the road, they covered 4 of the last 5 as well. Very interesting stat there, because I was thinking maybe I should just hop in, get in, and get out on the Pistons here. Maybe they get their guy back. Maybe it's a lot because of these guys getting their offense in play. It's hard to say Sadiq Bey offense is in play, but with him getting a little momentum without Jeremy Grant, having Jeremy Grant added into the lineup, maybe he's a little confident now to take that 3 when he's a little bit open. Normally that he wouldn't took when Jeremy Grant is in the ball. So I think you may see this team a little bit better offensively here for the Pistons. I wanted to take the Pelicans here earlier last night. I'm thinking that Brandon Ingram plays, makes it a little bit more competitive game here, but I do agree. I think the Pistons probably are the spot. I'm actually looking for our guy Dan Kelly. Seems like we're always talking about the Pistons, and he's always liking the Pistons when we're talking here. Where is he at? Let me see if he likes the Pistons, and maybe I really make it official. But as of right now, it's just a lean.
Wait, so Ingram is playing? I thought he was going to be out.
I believe he may be playing. I think he's listed questionable. He hasn't played in a while, so I think this is a game where they already ruled out Josh Hart. In order for them to be competitive in this game, they can need Ingram. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he plays in this game.
Interesting. I just don't want this team as a favorite.
And why has the total gotten bet up? I was thinking under.
Yeah, let's take a look at their pace last 5 games. Pelicans 25th at 96.50 possessions a game, while Detroit 19th at 97.70 possessions a game. Does that surprise you, Wham, that the total's gone up?
I mean, no. The defense for the Pistons is pretty much bad. I mean, they're not that good over the last 5 games. They're 18th in opponents' points per game, allowing 112. In that same span, they're allowing opponents 36% from 3. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the actual the total going up. I think the actual, if I remember this correctly, I'm looking at this right now. I want to say the meetings here, there's been a lot of overs in these 2 meetings. Okay, so yeah, it's been 3 over the last 4 games. It's been an over here. I think you probably do see some points here, but I'm not sure if I want to bank on this over or under without Ingram being in the lineup. If Ingram's in the lineup, that definitely is going to help the over for sure. So having an actual read on it right now, it's kind of like got me a little foggy, bro. And maybe, whatever else I was partaking in before I hopped on here got me a little foggy as well. But,
Sounds like good foggy. Pelicans,
a little bit of both.
Pistons, it's a bum fight. And I love bum fights.
Jim, I'll take it. Give me under 216.5 minus 108. I wouldn't be surprised if this one closes a little bit lower. I'll take it now. Under 216.5 minus 108. You can make that official.
Under 216.
I agree with that, though.
Minus 108. Very interesting. I like it. All right, let's keep rolling. As Stu Chaos says, Pelicans offense horrendous with a back-to-back. Let's move on. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Washington Wizards 23-26, 10-14 on the road, falling apart at the seams. Milwaukee Bucks 31-21, 18-9 at home, also playing poor basketball. Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Washington 0-5 over their past 5, 20th in pace at 97.50 possessions a game, while Milwaukee 3-2, 16th in pace at 98.00 possessions a game. We'll start with the market in this spot. Bucks open up minus 11.5. Now there's minus 11s on the board. From a total perspective, we have it opening up at 225.5. It shot all the way up to 229.5. Let's see if the money follows that. This is the most bet on game in the association at thus far in the day. 9,658 tickets in, 55% of the tickets on the Bucks, 98% of the cash on them. Wow. 61% of tickets on the over, 97% of cash on the over. Big bets have come in on the over, and it's moved towards the over. Wizards coming off their 5th straight loss, 115-95 at Memphis on Saturday. Kuzma goes for 30-8, 11-17 shooting. The KCP 15, Dinwiddie 10, 5-9 January for the Washington Wizards. And now Beal's going to be out the next 2 games with a sprained left wrist. Bucks coming off their 2nd loss in 3 games, 136-100 at home to the Nuggets on Sunday. Giannis finished with 29, 9-19 shooting. Drew, contributed 14. Portis and Grayson Allen go for 8. And, Giannis was speaking in the press about their inability to defend the paint, how him and Portis are the only bigs. And there was, it sounded like whining. And my shoulders aren't big enough to take care of the paint. And I'm alone out there. And I just, Pete, what do you think here? Washington, Milwaukee, then we'll head over to Wham Bam.
And again, I was thinking, obviously Milwaukee got that's embarrassing at home. In their home, they got embarrassed. I don't know if I'd want to lay 11 with them, but I was thinking under as well. Even at the opener of 227, now it's up to 230. I mean, I know that Milwaukee has been over trending, and their games often are high scoring, but not all of them. You see some an odd game here and there where the total winds up under 230. So I'd be leaning over. Under.
See what Wham has to say about this. Take it away.
I mean, it got to be under here. I think that's probably the best play here. I do like the Spencer Dinwiddie over 7.5 assists. If they're a little bit competitive, he's going to go over this assist here. But it could be a blowout. The number shows it's expected to be a blowout. This Wizards team, really bad if you're backing them, especially without Bill. They're 1-9 over the last 10 games. Wizards skid right now over the last 5 games. They got them in the bottom 5 offensive rating, defensive rating, net rating, effective field goal percentage, true shooting. You know what I'm saying? Opponent 3-point percentage. They're allowing 45%. It's just bad. It's just bad right now for the Wizards. So the only way I think that things make it a little bit better is if Spencer Dinwiddie goes over the 7.5 assists. It's at plus money. That's the way I did drop a little sprinkle on. I'm not even confident in putting it as official bet just because it could be a blowout here. This may be just more of my hunch. And then also without Bradley Beal, he averaged 8.2 assists, 5 rebounds, 23 points. So maybe this is his type of game that he lives up here. I could see them covering full game too, but this Bucks team is really bad as well. They're not really that good. You know what I mean? They're not really that good as far as defensive wise. They've said it, but you mentioned it, bro. Like they act like little bitches out there. You know what I'm saying? They act like little bitches out there. So do I really want to think them being the smack spot? I do think the first half is maybe a look here. Wizards not really that good of a first half team as well. But again, I think Spencer Dinwiddie has the opportunity here to go over the 7.5 assists. So if I'm saying that, I don't really like to back the Bucks here. So that's the only reason why I'm laying is because I believe that the situation favors him, and we've seen him do this before. In the 9 games that he's had without him, he's had 7, 10, 11, 12, 9, 9, through 6s and 2s and 3s, but a lot of those were blowouts against the OKC and or Orlando of the world. So those were blowouts on their favor. So I believe that this Spencer Dinwiddie and maybe even Kuzma props, of course, he will see an uptick without Bill in the lineup. But that's the way I'm looking here.
Well, I think I figured out how I want to handle this, and Pete, we'll come over to you. And Nutflush is on the exact same train. You have to think that they're going to come out angry, losing at home by 36 points 2 nights ago. And the Bucks have done that. And when the Bucks were in Cleveland, I thought my cap was, I think the Bucks are going to send a message to this team here at this point in the season. And they won the first quarter by 12 or 13 points. Then they got destroyed the rest of the game. And that was shocking to me. And, of course, I was on the first half and full game, so I went 0-2 on that spot. But Top Shelf Play saying Bucks, one of the best first quarter teams. You have to think they come out fast and punch them in the mouth. And I'm in. I'm fully in. I think the Bucks come in first quarter and hit hard. And as soon as I say that, I can hear the goddamn Buck show on my balcony. It's getting out of control the last couple of days. And try not to listen to it. Pete, what are you adding here?
I'm looking at some of the interesting comments here and listening to everyone. Top Shelf Play says, low bag, don't do it. I think he was talking about my lean to the under. And then Billy Friedrich says, I like the first half under better than the full game based on what these two have done last 10 games. And then, of course, listening to Nutflush Allen talking about liking the Bucks early. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you another official pick here, Jimmy the Bag. You ready? Washington Wizards, first half, team total, under 55.5 minus 106. There you go. Washington Wizards, first half, team total, under 55.5 minus 106.
I like that. But I almost think that I would like to focus on their first quarter under.
27.5 plus 101 at Pinnacle right now.
Let's just see what I would get here. I like that look, though. I think it makes tons of sense. What do you think, Wham, when you're hearing what we're leaning towards?
Man, that makes sense to me. Washington in the first quarter on the road are 8-15. If that's the case, up 6.12 units, if I'm not mistaken. If you've been betting that just blindly, that makes sense to me as well. I think it is going to be a competitive game, though. So that's the reason why I think they have a shot. But what you're saying is that defense is going to ramp up, and it doesn't seem like you need to play that much defense with the bottom five offense here. So, they play a little bit of defense. Is it if they're going to play defense really, for this team and as far as the Wizards, they're giving up 40%. I can see this be a fucking shooting spree from Chris Miller and Grayson Allen and them boys. So it's kind of tough to go either way here, in my opinion. But I love the under. It makes sense, man.
My palms just started leaking. Let's move on here. Pete is on the Wizards. First half team total under 55.5 -106. I enjoyed capping that game with you guys immensely. That was a lot of fun. Let's keep rolling. Next up, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Miami Heat 32-19, 14-13 on the road at Toronto Raptors, 25-23, 13-12 at home. We're at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario, and I can't wait to watch this basketball game. Miami 3-2 over their past 5, 27th in pace and 96 possessions a game. Toronto 3-2, 28th in pace and 95.72 possessions a game. When we move over to this total, 210.5 opener, sitting at 210.5. There are a couple books at 210. We go over to the spread. Raptors open up as 3-point favorites, and a bunch of books have moved it to 2.5. When we go over to the cash in this game, we have 5,686 tickets in. 61% of the tickets, 74% of the cash on the Raptors. Then 39% of tickets on the under and 89% of cash on the under. And we've seen it move towards a half-point move. So it hasn't moved yet, but it seems like that would be the look here. Okay, both teams are on the second half of a back-to-back and have just played each other as well a couple nights ago. Heater on the second half, back-to-back after losing 122-92 at the Celtics on Monday night. No Kyle Lowry. He's now missed 8 games, and he's a high-character guy, and I just hope everything's okay with him. And we don't know what's going on, and I'm happy that they've kept everything in-house. Jimmy Butler, big right big toe irritation. PJ Tucker, left knee irritation. And they, on Saturday night, when they played these Raptors in triple overtime, some called it the game of the year, Butler and Tucker played 52 and 41 minutes, respectively. The Butler-Tucker injuries are not considered serious, and I wonder if everybody expects them to play in the game tonight, because I do, but I don't have that info, so I wish somebody could come in there. Raptors won their second straight game last night, 106-100 at Atlanta. Siakam for 25, and Fleet for 16, and Noe for 15. They came back from a 16-point deficit to force overtime in Miami. It was as fun as basketball gets, and they complete a 2-1 road trip. They're a good basketball team, and there's a concern about that in Toronto. The one thing you don't want to be in sports is just an average team. You either want to be good or you want to be bad, and being average will kind of hurt you in the long run. So there's a little concern here. We certainly don't think we'll be making additions at the deadline. Gary Trent Jr., 31 points, 4th straight game with 30 or more. And the Heat will be playing their 4th game in 6 nights on Tuesday. They've had a very tough schedule. Take it away here, Pistol Pete. Heat Raptors. You have a feel?
Yeah, I mean, you just basically said it all. I'm assuming that Butler and Tucker will be back, and if they are, in light of what happened, in Miami's last game and then the game before against Toronto, we love to pick spots to take teams in the first quarter. Got to be thinking Miami +1 first quarter. I don't know if I'd want them full game. Definitely leaning under, and definitely leaning Miami first quarter +1.
Oh, wow. And Sammy has some information on it. I'm not going to say it out loud here. It's in the chat there. I just don't, I just have so much respect for Kyle Lowry myself. Wham, what do you think here, Heat Raptors? I can totally see where Pete is leaning. Do you want to make moves?
Yeah, man. I do want to make a move, and I like the Heat today. I think the Heat wins. I think those guys do play. Seems like they kind of already had that plan with guys not playing in the last game. The other team, they played a lot of minutes in the last game. As far as Toronto, most of the starting 5 are in the 40 minutes in that game, in the last game yesterday. Both of these teams are pretty good on for back-to-back. And I mean, as far as these two teams in this situation as well, Raptors are 8-2, last 10 at the house. Heat are 7-3 ATS at the last 10 road games. You're just looking at these two teams that kind of clash again. I think Spoelstra kind of hinted around that, what we're kind of doing here. They're trying to get right back. They lost that game. They came from rallying back 16 points towards the end of the third quarter to even getting the chance to get to those overtimes. So to get the L, definitely seems like it's a bad taste in their mouth, and they pissed off about it. And this team is like that. For them to even not leak certain things, having mentioned this, some of those guys are playing, it's kind of the intriguing thing about backing this team, because you can find yourself on a good ticket throughout the year, just figuring out guys is in the lineup or not, or just trying to have a feel for this team. So in my opinion, I think this team is going to play up for this game. Shout out to our guy Austin Wang as well. They gave us some information last night. Teams that are in revenge spots against opponents the next game with the multiple overtime. So in the last game where it was multiple overtimes, and the next game they played, they covered 63%. The losing team does. So looks like that is a good spot. And it goes back to 2014, I believe, as well. That's a good spot for the Heat there in that situation. And I believe it's a good spot for them just based off of Jimmy Butler not having to play yesterday, being able to come in today. So I like the Heat today. Full game money line. That's the official play for me for sure in this game.
Ooh, you've just added to the intrigue to this basketball game. A plus 128. I think that your angle on these guys resting more than actually having real injuries because they want to pay back the Raptors is bang on. You can get plus 128 over at Pinnacle. That's the best I can find here. Don Mack taking the Heat plus 125, and they should be allowed to have 500 fans. And then I guess on the 21st of February, we can have 50% capacity. They should be allowed to have 500 fans in now today. So I don't know if they're going to bother doing that. Dennis Garcia says, my number assumed Butler and Lowry were out. Miami -1, wrong team favorite. Nutflush says, with no fans in the stands, Toronto home games, 120, 129, 122, 105, 95, 105, and 125. Very, very interesting here.
Jimmy Bag, you can double me up on this one. I'll take Pinnacle lines right now. Miami first quarter, +1, -111. And we'll go Miami first half, +1, -102. Both of those. Miami first quarter, +1, -111. And Miami first half, +1, -102.
I love those looks. They've been so good early. They've been so good and trusted early. Now, in those games that I bet on them early when they've cashed, they've also covered full game. They haven't let go, but they've been so good early. They're an angry team. They rested a couple players. Is there any fear at all, Wham, that we make these bets on the Heat and Butler isn't in the lineup tonight?
You know what? That's very interesting to say that too, because my whole thought process here is that he's going to play.
Yeah, same.
So that definitely would kind of get a little bad taste in my mouth. But me knowing this team, without Butler, you know what I'm saying? So even Garga DG, shout out to Dennis Garcia, man, one of the funniest guys.
Yes,
bro.
yes.
Shout out to Dennis Garcia for sure, bro. For sure. I just believe that they are going to play up to their potential in this game. Another reason why I'm kind of fading Raptors here, because Gary Trent Jr., bro. I mean, Gary Trent Jr. had 30 plus points back to back. Man, that shit ain't happening tonight, bro. Shit ain't happening tonight, bro. I'm not trying to just give no bad juju out there. Y'all got Gary Trent in your pocket. Cool. I hope y'all cash, bro, but I don't think that shit happening tonight, man.
Pete, you have Heat first quarter +1, -111, and first half. What was the first half at?
+1, -102.
I like those looks. I think the Heat early as well. But then a great point by Don Mack. The Raps' legs will probably fade late. You might as well triple up.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis Garcia likes the first quarter and full game. I don't want to triple up. Maybe I should have taken the full game and first quarter, but whatever. I'll take first half, first quarter, whatever.
Well, I want in. I think it's a good look. Wham Bam on the Heat +128. I can't wait to watch this basketball game. All right, let's move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Orlando Magic 11-40, 6-22 on the road at Chicago Bulls 31-18, 18-6 at home. United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Orlando 3-2 over their past 100.8 possessions a game. That's fifth in the NBA. And Chicago 3-2 over their last 5. They're 10th over their last 5 games at 98.70 possessions a game. We have the Magic opening up as 11.5-point dogs, and that is now down to 8.5. There is a 9 in a couple books, so a big move towards them. Then from a total perspective, we have the total opening up at 219.5, and we see 222.5s and 223s. When we go over to where the cash lies in this spot, we have 8,599 tickets in, 52% of the tickets, 80% of the cash on the Bulls. Then 33% of tickets on the over, 99% of cash on the over. Viper says Chicago 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 games at home. Orlando 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games on the road. The Magic won their second straight game, 110-108 at home versus the Mavs on Sunday. Franz Wagner made a go-ahead layup, 54 seconds left, put up 18 points. Wendell Carter goes for 14 and 14, 20th double-double of the year. And Chuma goes for 19. That's a season high. 7 Magic players scoring in double figures. They're playing their best ball of the year. I mean, it's easy to say. Bulls won their third in 4 games, 130-116 at home over the Blazers on Sunday. 7th time this year, the Bulls have gone for over 130 points. Vooch goes for 24 and 14. DeRozan 23 and 10. Pistol Pete, you have a feel here.
Yeah, the line just looked a little bit high to me. Haven't bet it yet. Interested to hear what people have to say, but leaning Orlando and leaning Orlando team total over. Both these teams have been vaguely trending over recently, so leaning Orlando at like +9 and Orlando team total over at like 106.5.
What do you think, Wam?
Yeah, both of these teams just played. Bulls look to revenge a 114-95 loss to the Magic on January 23rd. We know Wendell Carter Jr. is pretty much the firing force that's coming in here. Every time he plays against his old team, he wants to whoop their ass. He's averaging 21 points against them, 9 rebounds, and 2.8 assists. We're going to go back to the double-double here with Wendell Carter Jr. I think he gets there, and I think he goes over the 14.5 points as well. So both of those are official plays for me. I just think he's just one of those guys. Like, as much as we've seen, and I'm kicking myself because I wasn't on the when Embiid is out the lineup, take the drum and rebounds, right? It's similar to like when you see Wendell Carter goes up against his old team, he's going to try to bust their ass here. So I think he goes over the 9.5 rebounds, but I think it's juiced here. So you might as well just take the double-double. He gets 10 points. He gets the double-double at +120. I believe I got it at Bovada, but you may be able to get somewhere better than that. And minus 110 for the 14.5 points.
Locked in. Double-double at +120. Carter over 14.5 points. I will take a look and see if I can find you something better. That's a -110. What do you think, Pistol? You going to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, Trot Wam is Chicago. Like, I know they kind of pride themselves on defense, but are they kind of play kind of a brisk pace at times? Are they going to be able to hold Orlando down here? I see a relatively high-scoring game. No, be honest.
You know what? The offense has been pretty good. Like you said, you mentioned it, Jimmy. Their offense has been pretty much a little bit better here. Chuma Okeke, man, he's been fucking fired from 3 as well, and he's not scared to shoot it. There's 2 teams though. Let me look at as far as what they're giving up. I believe the defense has been a little bit slumping for this team, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull that up here. 1 second, sir. There it is. Okay, so the Bulls have been allowing 41% from 3, 29th ranked 3-point percentage over the last 5 games. That ain't gonna cut it today. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna cut it today. Yeah. I think you may, if you're thinking of under here, you may want to lay away from it. Maybe a live under, maybe a little bit better in this game if I was to bet that. But the over seems like pregame is probably the play.
I'll pass. I mean, Orlando beat them down so bad recently that I'll just pass. Pass for me, Jim.
Yeah, it's I find it tricky, and I do respect how Wham has attacked it, focusing on Wendell Carter. I get that edge there. And Cashman getting you the line shopping. Thank you, Cashman, getting you a +140 on the double-double. Thank you, Cashman. That is available at Caesars right now, +140 on the double-double. Thank you, Cashman. And we'll be able to thank Cashman in person in San Antonio. Trot Wam.
Shout out to that.
I think that look to the team total over for the Magic is probably the best angle, I think, of what Pete was talking. So I'm just going to put that as a possible spot for me. And then what did we see that? Sorry, let's just quickly see what that total did. That total shot up 3 points already. Yeah. Maybe we've already lost that. Okay, I'll just leave some question marks there. Let's roll on. So Wham's locked in with Wendell Carter double-double plus 140 and over 14.5 points at minus 110. We move on to 8 p.m. Eastern. Denver Nuggets 28 and 21, 15 and 12 on the road. At Minnesota Timberwolves 25, 25, 14 and 10 at home at Target Center. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Denver 5-0 over their past 5. They're playing good basketball. Last 3 wins coming on the road. They're 8th in pace over that span, 99.7 possessions game, while Minnesota 3-2, second in pace, 101.90 possessions a game. We have these Timberwolves. This total, wow, opened at 224.5. It shot all the way up to 230. Holy.
As it should.
Whoa. And from a spread perspective, the Wolves open up at -2. They're now -4 or 4.5. Why did I think that I was offered a 5 this morning? No, it's 4 in my book. For some reason, I have a 5 in my head, and I was surprised that they were such big favorite. Let's take a look at where the cash lies. Maybe this will help. 4,816 tickets in, so this is the least bet game on the market right now. 41% of the tickets on the Nuggets and 82% of cash and reverse line movement. Very, very strange there. 33% of tickets on the over and 70% of cash on the over. I wonder if it's gone up so high that the pros are doubling back and going for a middle. So they come in off a 136-100 win at Milwaukee. These Nuggets do. Impressive. They've won 10 of their last 13, and Jokic is playing phenomenal basketball. The Wolves snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 126-106 win at home over Utah on Sunday. They've won 9 of their last 14. They've won 4 straight at home. Cat goes for a triple-double, 31, 11, and 10. He's playing good basketball. We know what Edwards is doing day in and day out, and now Russell is rolling. He missed 2 straight games because of a shin injury, and he is uncertain for Tuesday. Take it away here, Pistol. You have a lean or a feel for Nuggets Timberwolves?
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was obviously to the over, like the rest of the world. Now that it's up to 230, not sure what I think. And Denver is obviously a team you don't want to really be betting against. So I was thinking maybe it's super obvious, but I was thinking Denver team total over 113. Maybe they win and get to 113, or maybe they lose, but the game is high scoring and they go over 113 as well. That was my lean on this one. Didn't bet it.
That lean makes sense. What do you think, Wham?
That actually makes the best sense. And I'm happy that I didn't bet this game because my first initial thought was to take the first half over. Denver is 9-1 to the first half over. I think that was probably my only casher that we had last Tuesday. I'm just been riding that. But as far as this game, it's very interesting because what you're saying is kind of adding up to what you're seeing from this Minnesota team. They're giving up the 3 just as much as the Bulls said, we just recently said at 29th, they're dead last at 44%. They're giving up 44% from 3 over the last 5 games, 119 points to opponents. We know this is the best, as far as like the offensive rating team for the league for a long stretch, for this year, and especially over the last 5 games, the number 1 offensive rating, number 1 in effective field goal percentage, number 1 is true shooting. This team is just pretty much really good offensively. They just can't really stop anybody. So I think that's a real good look as far as the over here, of course. But I think the better look is what you're saying, though. You maybe talked me into it because at first I was leaning first half over here, but I think you're better off taking the first half full game team total over for the Denver Nuggets, or maybe even the first half team total over. Yeah, knowing that both of these teams are pretty much giving it up early on. But I think the full game one makes the most sense because they're already averaging giving up 119 points. They don't even have to reach the average to catch that 113 you're talking about.
The only thing that makes me nervous about that is I don't really like taking a team on a team total over on the road when they are just coming off a huge offensive explosion. At home it's a little bit different, but on the road when you have a team that puts up 136 on the road and they're in the middle of a road trip, I'm a little bit hesitant. That's just what I was thinking. But the more I look at it and think about it, the more I'm just going to hold off.
And also just to add here, what I did write down because I just went off the top of my head after what you said here because it's just tricking me. But D'Lo being in question, it kind of hurts the playmaking here. And Edwards kind of said after the game that he had 10 assists, he doesn't like to be a playmaker. So they had to get the guy, Jordan McLaughlin, in. He had foul trouble, so they still had to have that guy out there. So it seems like that may be an issue for this team, and that's probably the reason why Cat had the triple-double because they're trying to get, relieve the playmaking duties from Ant Edwards.
Yeah, this game has become difficult. This game has all of a sudden become difficult. I think that's such a good point, Pete, that you added.
Yeah.
Nuggets coming off a 136-point performance. Seems like Minnesota is coming into their own at home, and maybe the movement market isn't that bad. Maybe the 4 points is fine. Maybe I certainly lean towards the Wolves here at home, especially with Jokic being a game time decision. Dennis Garcia says Minnesota for fun if Jokic doesn't play.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm leaning towards still moving on the Timberwolves here, especially after that great game. Okay, let's move on to a couple beauties to finish off this card. Sorry, that's my son in the background. He's also pumped up about this basketball program.
The King Carter out there.
Now I think he's thinking about Titty. And I hope he can find some Titty. That'd be great. Warriors 38-13, 14-9 on the road at the Spurs, 19-32, 10-16 at home. We're at AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. Warriors 5-0 over the past 5, 24th in pace at 96.70 possessions a game, while the Spurs are 2-3, 6th in pace at 99.90 possessions a game. We have the Warriors opening up at -3. Now they're -2 or -2.5 on the second half of a back-to-back. And from a total perspective, we have these Warriors opening up at 217.5, shooting all the way up to 223.5. Wow, we've seen huge market moves towards the overs in some of these games. 6,656 tickets in, 63% of the tickets, 67% of the cash on these Warriors. Then we have 27% of tickets on the under, but 99% of cash. So obviously a big bet was dropped on this under, and maybe they waited until it go all the way up. That's confusing. Warriors are on the second half of back. As I said, they won their sixth straight game, 122-108 at Houston. They've won six straight. Curry goes for 40. Wiggins goes for 23. Draymond Green misses his 12th straight game, and Otto Porter Jr. sidelined with a sore left foot. Now, San Antonio has won 7 of its past 10 games against the Warriors, and they play good teams really tough. They did lose their second in 3 games, 115-110 to Phoenix on Sunday, but look who they've beaten. They've beaten the Nuggets, the Jazz, the Bucks, and they went into Golden State and beat them on December 4th. McBuckets goes for 24, Lonnie Walker 22, Keldon Johnson 16, Trey Jones 15, Primo 13. They did that without DeWante Murray with the left knee contusion, without Jakob Poeltl back soreness, and no Derek White, who was held out for rest. So San Antonio is 4-15 this year when Murray, White, and Poeltl aren't in the lineup, and they played tough. So here we go. Let's move over to Pistol Pete Loshak, the Spurs at home against the Warriors.
Yeah, it's scary to bet against Golden State when Steph Curry's playing how he played in his last game. But I was definitely leaning Spurs. I was hoping to get maybe a little bit more than 2. I guess at 2, I'd be leaning that way as well. Really want to hear what the comment section and Trot Wam have to say about this one. Leaning Spurs, though.
Take it away, Wam.
Yeah, man, DeJounte Murray being in question is the only reason why I haven't locked this in, but I do agree with you guys. Spurs 8-3 ATS as home dogs. The Golden State Warriors 4-4 ATS off no rest on the second half of back-to-back. Keldon Johnson, he's hit 10 straight 2+ 3-point makes. It's at -1. It's minus 200 now, so they don't want you to bet that no more. As far as this team here at Golden State, they got to stop these guys from scoring in the paint. We know that this is the number 2 in that regard over the last 5 games in points in the paint. As far as the San Antonio Spurs, they've pretty much been them in Memphis competing for the number 1 spot for points in the paint throughout the year. This team are pretty good at defending there, but I believe a lot of that has to do with what Draymond does. And, Looney, he's been pretty much incredible. I give him credit. He's been playing pretty well for the Golden State Warriors, but they ranked 6th over the last 5 games and 6 fewest in that span, and the 4th fewest for the season, avenging a loss where they had Draymond and Steph in the lineup, 112-107, where the Spurs won by 5 points. So I think that the Spurs will possibly win this game. I just don't have that much confidence to bet it without DeJounte being announced in the lineup, but that's the way I'm good looking here. I think the Spurs are going to win this game. So if I'm going to take anything, it's going to be the money line.
And they're all off the injury report, all of them.
Oh, wow.
They're all off the injury report. Spurs full game, it has to be the spot here.
Interesting. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm with that, bro. So you can lock me in. That way I won't have to worry about, because that's going to be a play I make. I just wanted to make sure he was in the lineup before I did it. But
so
yeah,
do you
man.
want the points or you want the money line?
You can give me the +2. I think it's +2 right now. You can give me the +2. But I will be on that money line too, y'all. Just to let y'all know.
+2 at -111.
Not Flush Allen says Spurs can't stop anyone.
No, it is a problem, but I can get you +2.5 at -114. 3 cents more for the 2.5.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense there. +2, 3 cents for half point. That sounds right. Okay. We just have word now coming in that Harden has been upgraded to probable.
Oh, it's probable now. Wow.
Probable for these Brooklyn Nets. So let's move on to this next spot on the board, and let's see what we are dealing with. We have Brooklyn opening up as 7-point dogs. Now we have 5 or 5.5. I was really thinking of backing them early, but I wanted to talk it out with you guys. From a total perspective, come on. It says it. I don't know if this is possible. Maybe it's the hard thing. It says it opened at 218.5 at Action. That works out at 230. I find that very difficult to believe, but that's what it says here. And that's 17-7 on the road. We're at the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Brooklyn 1-4 over their past 5. They need to have a nice game here. 4 straight losses. They lose 110-106 at Golden State on Saturday night. They played hard. Phoenix winning, and now hit 110 straight. 115-110 at home over the Spurs, and they are winning with makeshift lineups. They're just a great basketball team. Pistol Pete, take it away here. Brooklyn, Phoenix.
Yeah, I was thinking about. I was vaguely leaning Brooklyn for sure when I saw 6 on the overnight line, and also thinking about under. Now it's up to 230.5. Maybe it'll go up a little bit more with news of Harden. I was kind of assuming he would be in anyway, but yeah, leaning under, leaning Nets, more so leaning under. That's what I'm thinking. A lot of guys are out for Phoenix, leaning under.
Take it away, Wham. What do you think here?
Yeah, man. I see that something flashed before my screen as well. Aiden is now questionable. He was listed out prior to me capping this game, so I didn't have him in the lineup. With Aiden being added into the lineup and Jay Crowder as well being listed questionable, upgraded as well. It seemed like those two guys maybe looking to make it amends too, because Harden went through shooting round. I did see him go through shooting round. I didn't know he was probable, so that's good news here for the Brooklyn Nets. I just think this is maybe a good spot for the Suns. Suns like to play against good teams, like to show up to their opponents here. They're not really getting that much respect, especially since the All-Star shit just happened. A lot of those guys are kind of salty. This is a good opportunity for them to ball out, but Kyrie is on the mission as well. Don't get me wrong. Like what Kyrie has been doing, no one is going to talk about it because all the anti-vax shit and all that shit, but you know what I mean? But they ain't going to talk about it, but Kyrie is actually hooping on everybody they put in front of him. So I like this Suns team. This is one of those games that I may add later on down the line, just because I have a little bit of action early on in this game. So if it's looking like a good day, I'm going to add this card at this game. But I think it's going to be the Suns -7, 7.5. Especially it might be even moving if Aiden is in the lineup. I think the advantage is going to be kind of overwhelming what type of you're going to get from Aiden and those guys. Without KD, the offense can't find themselves stagnant. It's just Kyrie out there. But I do want to see how James Harden shows up today. If it's James Harden shows up, it's going to be an interesting game to watch. But I think the Suns are too consistent to pass up on a spread like this. I think they should be probably double-digit favorites here.
Well, they're 5.5 right now, but Aldridge has gone home. So there's no Claxton, Aldridge are out. Day'Ron Sharpe questionable. And what if he's out too? I mean, what are you going to do? The James Johnson and Blake Griffin show? They're going to get destroyed.
It's going to be Bruce Brown guarding Aiden, bro. It's going to be Bruce Brown out there.
So we got to hope Day'Ron Sharpe's in the lineup. So maybe we should wait and see what actually bangs out health-wise here.
Right.
Anything you're leaning towards, Pete? Anything you want to move on in this final game?
Not really. A lot of people not liking a lean to the under, talking about no defense. Brooklyn doesn't D up against anyone. Brooklyn plays 0 defense. I hear that. Maybe I'll hold off and just stick with my 4 plays that I have right now.
Well, let's review all action here in NBA. Pete moved on the Pelicans Pistons under 216.5 at -108, waited till it got to its peak, hopefully, and attacked it towards the under. I'm going to double up on this Wizards Bucks game. I'm gonna take the Bucks first quarter, and I'm gonna take the Wizards first quarter under 27.5. Pete's on the Wizards first half team total under 55.5 at -106. Wham is on the Heat plus 128. Pete is on the Heat first quarter and first half, and I like those two spots as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to double up here, but I get it. I completely get it. Then a Magic team total over makes a ton of sense, and we had Nutflush Allen go over the numbers. I think I'm going to move on that. Pete, you talked about possibly moving on that. I think I will move on that.
I'm going to hold off, but Nutflush Allen making some good arguments for it in the comment section. Shout out to Nutflush Allen.
And Wendell Carter double at plus 140 for Wham, and Wendell Carter over 14.5 points at -110. I am going to move on the Wolves here. I am going to move on the Spurs. Wham took them plus 2.5 -114. I believe it was Spurs Warriors. Maybe it wasn't, but I have been burnt taking a money line on the 2.5 point spread with the Spurs already this year. So maybe I'll hesitate there, but there you go. Then I wanted Brooklyn early, but I'm going to have to spend more time on this Nets-Suns game, especially with Ayton possibly returning, and go over whether Day'Ron Sharpe can be in the lineup. Like, if Day'Ron Sharpe's not in the lineup, you want nothing to do with this Nets because their bigs are trash without Aldridge?
I mean, you said it, man. I mean, who else is going to be down there, bro? Who else is going to be down there? Just even if he's down there, bro. Like, even if he's down there, that's cool. It's just, it's tough, man. It's tough to ask, I think, for some of these guys against this type of talent, man. Ayton has been, top tier ever since he stepped on. So it's only right if he comes out a little sluggish or a little lax here because he's been out of the injury rip, but I just don't see it that much different.
Well done. Well put. You can catch our man Trot Wam on our NBA Pub Hub show Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern right here on Pub Sports Radio, and you can hang out with him in person in San Antonio, 25th, 27th. He will be there in person, and he is the returning champion of our last poker game. There it is, Pub Up Palooza, March 24th to 31st. I'll be down there 22nd till the 5th. And want to hang out with all of you guys. Wham Bam, my man, thank you for sharing your hard work with us. Much love. Good luck on your show. Good luck with your action. If you add anything, tag me. We'll have it all together, my man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know, man. Appreciate y'all as well. Shout out to the chat. And my guy, Pistol Pete, Lotus Loshak.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Wait, before you go, Brooklyn doesn't play any defense. I'm leaning under, man. I'm leaning under in that one.
That's right.
All right, I'll let you go. Shout out to Trot Wam.
What a guy he is, Wham.
What a guy.
The house. Okay, that is our show and all of our action. So let's review action. Jose Bouquet, say hey, play today is Texas Tech -4 at -108. Pete is on the under 6 at -118 and Kraken Bruins. I am going to move on the Krakens on the puck, the Bruins on the -1.5 line. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is the Tampa Bay Lightning -1.5 at home against the Sharks. Leafs, Devils, we have no action here. Under 6.5 for me, Florida, New York Rangers, but I'm going to wait until 20 minutes before puck drop. I just think money will keep coming in on the over. And again, that's predicated on Adam Fox being out and the way I see Shesty stepping up against the Panthers team that just scored 8 goals last out. Winnipeg, Philadelphia, we have stayed off. Pete moved on the Penguins -1 at +100, and I'm going to tail that. Penguins have lost 3 straight. Capitals, Ovechkin usually bring out the best in them. Then Pete is on the Islanders -1 at -174. I'm not going to move on that under. I was humming and hawing about it. I have enough action. I'm not going to move there. Pete is on the Canucks team total under 2.5 and the Preds -1 at -107. I'm also going to be on the Predators -1. I'm going to be on the over 5.5 in Flames Dallas Stars. Arizona first period under 1.5 is a possibility for me. And Pete moved on the first period under 2 at -131. Then we stayed. Oh, then Pete moved on the under 6.5 -128 in Buffalo, Vegas, which will be some added excitement for us. Then we just went over all of our NBA action. In college basketball, we have 4 bets from both Max and Pete. Max is on North Carolina -6.5 at +140. Texas Tech over 122.5 -107. Providence +135. Miami of Ohio -2.5 +125. Those are all alternate lines on North Carolina and Miami of Ohio. Oh, yes, birthday pick. Absolutely. That's what we will close on. Great call. Then Pete is on Western Michigan. Team total over 78 -110. Siena -3.5 -108. Rutgers +5 at -109. And VCU Virginia under 118.5 -110. And here we go, Pistol Pete, a part in the show that we love very, very much. The Pete Loshak birthday pick. Pete, the pressure is on.
Yeah. This is so much like life, isn't it? In theory, I love it. In retrospect, I love it. At the time, it is so friggin' stressful. But okay, because I got to give two of them here. One for Michael Irvelina, who are there any words? Happy birthday, Michael Irvelina. Win or lose, have a happy birthday and a great year. And I got to give one to Turnsy's 66th son. Happy birthday to you. This is incredibly stressful, but okay. Michael Irvelina, birthday pick. Oh, God. I'll make it Nashville -1 -107. Nashville -1 -107. Vancouver's on a back-to-back. Saros is a beast, right, Jimmy the Bag? I mean, he's a beast. He can stand on his head at any time. I think he probably will here. Michael Irvelina, happy birthday. Nashville -1 -107. Oh, God. All right. Okay. And then Turnsy 66's son. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great birthday. Hope you have a great year. Hope you have a wonderful life. I know you got a great dad, so that's a start. That's a nice start. I'll tell you what, Turnsy son. I'll hit you up with Washington Wizards. First half team total under 55.5. Milwaukee, they got to D up. They got to make a statement. They got to have a big first half and hold Washington down. So there you go. Turnsy 66's son, your birthday pick, the Washington Wizards. First half team total under. Whew.
Love it. Those of us who have stuck around here for the end of the show, Jose, do you think we should give them a little peek at what you created for our NBA guest for tomorrow, or you want to save it?
Sure, play it. Let's do it.
All right, here is a little peek at some more Jose Bouquet magic, and you will see this tomorrow.
Oh,
you ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
I love
He's no attachment. He's downright Buddhist in his lack of concern. I love it.
I love it.
Buddhist / Johnny Rotten-esque. Hell yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Shout out to Jose Bouquet's great work. I can't wait to show that to our man Durrell tomorrow.
Yeah, no idea.
Pound Cake, I am going to be on the Timberwolves. Yes, I'm going to be on the Timberwolves. I haven't bet yet. I haven't made any bets yet.
By the way, Jimmy, we have to continue harassing Pete about San Antonio and asking if he's going to go. We have to keep shaking him up and asking him, Pete, you going? Pete, you going? Pete, you going? So, Pete, you going?
We'll see. Yeah, I would like to. We'll see. Yes, okay. Probably. We'll see.
Okay. Well, that's a probably. All right, Pete. I'm going to write that down on the history. February 1st, 12:48 p.m. That's a probably from Pete. There we go.
I'll give you a nice politician word salad answer if you really want. But, I would like to. It sounds like a lot of fun.
We love you, Pistol P. We love the Tuesdays we get to cap together. Thank you so much for joining us, my man. You said that Max was upping the bar here with these final words. You want to take over and see what you got?
Next week I'll prepare some awesome final words. But for now, my only final words are, thanks, everyone. I appreciate you. Shout out to everyone. And, those are the shitty final words. But that's all I got for now. But I'll try to prepare something for next week, Jimmy the Bag.
Okay, Southwest Airlines, $59 one way. I'll tell you what I'll say. Thank you guys so much for rolling with us. Let's have a big start to the week. And roll it through tomorrow. But most importantly, Leche. Hey, Los Bookmakers!